What's going on, everybody? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everyone, to a Tuesday stream. It is May 12th, 2020, about 12:35 p.m. I hope everyone is doing well. And yes, thank you for correcting me on the actual use of Arvany hype, which is clearly that's the way to do it, Echo. But welcome, everybody, to day 66 of Adventures in Middle-earth, Wilderland Adventures. This is the Watch on the Heath, as we are in the final chapter of Wilderland Adventures. I also want to thank Terry for resubbing. So you might have heard right at the end of that we got that dot. So hopefully they will have victory just like that. But thank you, Terry. And I hope everyone is doing well and looking forward to the session today. Before we get underway, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us here. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to follow us here on the channel. Please check out our YouTube, which has all the past broadcasts of this and other streams, all 65 previous sessions, which you can find at !ArvTube. !ArvCord is the Discord channel where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. !ArvTweets is my Twitter. Please retweet this stream and let people know far and wide beyond just the Twitch community. And then you got the website for all of that, which is arvaneleron.com. If you haven't already done so on the financial side, support there, of course, is always appreciated. !Arv Shop is our merchandise area where you can see some of the stuff that you will notice our players sporting in just a minute, which are the amazing AIME shirts. I have to get one of those shirts for myself. AIME shirts with logos on front and back done by the amazing Terry Tunes, one of the players as well. And so there's that. You can check that out. And then you can also get stuff from the Infinity and Beyond crew, swag for them, and soon we're going to have Esper Genesis stuff there as well. Hey, what's up, Kerflop? I got your message in Discord, but I haven't had a chance to look at it because if I look at it, then I'm going to forget to respond to it, and because I won't have the little notification. So I'm going to look at it after the stream is over. So I hope it's nothing that needs my immediate attention, but otherwise I will take a look at the end of the day. Kerflop, of course, providing a huge prize as part of ArvCon 2020, about which more in a moment. So we've got that going on. Then we have got Arv Treon, which is the Patreon, currently sitting at 333. That really is the financial backbone of the channel, and that allows us to do a lot of cool stuff for the channel and allows me to put money back into the channel and into my writing as well. You can get a character background written for you, an epic poem. You can get one of my band's albums, lots of different stuff available there on Patreon. So Arv Treon for that. And that sub button right above the video window. We're sitting right now at about 62 subs. Oh, package is in the mail. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Kerflop, so much. Man, I can't wait to see what that looks like. It's going to be awesome. But thank you, Kerflop. Yeah, as I say, I will talk more about that in just a minute. So we've got the sub button, which is currently sitting above the video window, 62 subs as of last count, which is great. We want to continue to push that onward and upward. You can get inspirations for the players and things to support the rest of the crew. And who knows, they may need these inspirations today. We'll see if they do. But anyway, that is stuff you can do. Plus, you also get those custom sub badges and you get those awesome emotes and things like that. And then last but certainly not least is the publishing side. Icarus for my graphic novel Icarus and Jelinek. All the Jelinek is finished. Icarus, all the inks and pencils are in. Colors are now being done at a furious pace by Achala, so we're looking good as far as our schedule is concerned. I can't wait to share that with all of you. It's going to be very exciting for me personally, and I'm very excited about this long-term project, which is finally coming out in the way that I wanted it to, so I'm very excited about that. Library is Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my D&D 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. You can get it right now in PDF from Drive-Thru RPG, print coming soon. And as soon as everything gets out of lockdown, or at least Lithuania, where the printer is, gets out of lockdown. Let's see. And then I think the last thing I wanted to mention, I was writing a note for myself so that I don't forget something. The last thing I wanted to mention, of course, is Grayshade KS, which is the Grayshade Kickstarter. Okay, now with that said, I'm going to actually wait to talk about ArvCon until I bring in the rest of the crew. So I'm going to unmute myself so they know that we're ready to go, and then I'm going to unmute them.
Apparently now.
And then I'm going to swing over there.
We're supposed to know that we're ready to go because that's what he does. He unmutes so that we hear him.
Hi.
Rudely interrupts our conversations that we are having about important subjects.
I always imagine that you're like, right, and then the answer therefore is, hello, blah, 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 blah. So I assume that's what it's like. But yes, the reason I came over here right now to introduce all of you is I wanted to make sure that these folks were with me as I was talking a little bit about ARVCon, because they will be involved in ARVCon. So ARVCon 2020 is coming up a week from this Friday. It begins, and it will be a tabletop extravaganza bar none. It begins with, on Friday, Espergenesis, which stars Carlos Hernandez of the Getting Rave Reviews, Sal and Gabby Fix the Universe, and all that. I'm going to be getting that book to read to my daughter after I'm finished reading her Lord of the Rings. I hope that people in this particular show will understand that I need to finish Lord of the Rings first, and then we'll go right on as a palate cleanser, if you will, to a very different kind of book. But no, anyway, so I completely lost my train of thought thinking about how that's a great book. Anyway, Carlos, he plays. Yes, I got it. So Espergenesis, with those wonderful players, with Carlos, with Cat Rambo, with Zach Clay and Johnny Pittman. That will start on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Then Saturday, so this is, again, Friday the 22nd. Saturday the 23rd, we will continue starting at noon with these fine folks. These fine folks right here will begin. Okay, I have to stop and ask. All right, Tren, I'll bite.
He's an elephant.
No, we're
But you look like an elephant.
we're all closer than 6 feet, so I need to wear a mask.
Oh, it's social distancing. That's very clever.
Smart.
That's very cute. That's good stuff. I appreciate it.
My N95 mask is way over there.
He's way over there. Yeah, mine's in my room at the moment. But anyway, so then starting on Saturday morning Saturday afternoon, I should say. It'll be Saturday morning for Trent, unfortunately. At noon Eastern will be Adventures in Middle Earth. And if all goes well, depending on how the session goes today, that may be, I tried to plan it such that might be the last session of Wilderland Adventures. We will see how that all goes, but it's going to be pretty epic regardless. That will be going. Then D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder will take over at about, I think I have them queued to take over at about 4 p.m. And they will be running for...
Did you say last session?
Of Wilderland Adventures. Yes.
But not of our game.
Well, we're never going to play again. No, we talked about this. No, I've it's been made clear to me by all of you that you would like to continue to play with this game. So I don't think we're going to be stopping. But we're going to be coming to the end of this big mega Wilderland Adventures campaign before we move into Erebor Adventures, which is which would be the next stage. But so anyway, 4 p.m. D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. Then at I believe it is set for 8 p.m. Eastern, we have a concert that we usually have. I have 3 musicians lined up. I have already confirmed Matt Van Roon, also known as Chrono Wolf, who did the music for this video that you just saw, will make his return. We will also have Indy, who has been variously known in his career as Jordan Gonzalez, and now back to Indy. But no, he's really starting to blow up. Like his music is really on a good trajectory, and he's been able to play for us the last few ARVCons, so he will return. And probably, although I need to get confirmation on this, Kilgore Trout. I can't confirm that completely, but probably my fellow GOG streamer and professional guitar player and teacher who played for us in the last couple of years also. Then the evening will actually feature, I see Echo Alpha X5 in here, the D&D, Community D&D Shadow Crew with Echo Alpha X5, Rock God, and Hoodie. That's, I think, especially important for this particular thing because the person who was the 4th player in that group was, of course, Scott Grieg, also known as Kilobyte. This convention is to benefit the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation this year in honor of Scott, who lost his life about 6 weeks ago or so due to complications of diabetes. And so it's appropriate, I think, that they get a prime time, Saturday slot to be able to play with each other. So that will be Saturday evening. On Sunday, D&D with INB, which is the other campaign Trent plays with me on here, is going to have its epic 8-hour-long session from 12 to 8 p.m., the anchor leg. I know, where Trent is just going to collapse into his seat afterwards. And then Monday, for the first time ever, we have ARVCon going into overtime with 2 sessions, one by Johnny Pittman. That'll be in the afternoon, starting around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern, a session of City of Mist, a one-shot. And then that evening will be our Emberwind campaign that runs regularly on this channel, closing things out for day 4 and overtime of ARVCon. as I say, all to benefit the Force of Habit, to benefit the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We will have, in addition to the concert and these players and everything else, we will also have corporate sponsors. We have already gotten sponsorship from Harebrained Schemes, which makes the BattleTech games, and the Shadowrun games. We have Nomnivore, which is going to be jumping on board. We have Athos Arts, we have Alligator Alley, we have Tin Man Games, we have Zen Studios for the first time joining us. So we have a number of these people who are jumping on board as corporate sponsors, which I'm very grateful for. So we'll have lots of giveaways. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that Kerflop, who you see talking about it being in the mail, the top donator this year to ArvCon is going to get one of Kerflop's custom-made pens. And these are like... last year's was literally a dragon. The pen was a dragon. It was really unbelievable. And so he has outdone himself this year, and I think you will see that when I get to show off what the prize will be to the top donator. So all of this is for a great cause. We do this every year. It's a big community event. I understand that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and that means that everyone's resources and finances and psyches are strained to the limit. That said, though, it's not like diabetes goes away. It's not like other diseases and illnesses go away. And this is a chance for us, hopefully, to come together in some small fashion, as my players will be doing. So I want to thank the players ahead of time for being a part of it, and for being willing to give up a part of their Saturday to do this. And I want to thank all of chat in advance for being as supportive as you undoubtedly will. So that's the deal. And now that I've talked about that, since it involved them, I will let the players introduce themselves, starting with the gentleman right below me who was previously socially distancing, but now has decided that everything's okay, and so has removed that, and now we can just go back to
the state.
Just go back to normal, open things up. How you doing, Trent? How's life with you and the universe?
Open the gates.
It was okay until last night. I was finishing the pre-read of the Shadowrun book that I'm narrating.
Yes.
Well, about to start narrating. And I finished the last of chapter 44. And I did not know until last night that like the last 10 lines are meant to be a song. And I'm like, no. No. The public does not want to hear me sing. They may think they do. They are, what's the word I'm looking for? Freaking wrong. Okay? They are just... As I told John in an email, that is like going to violate the Geneva Convention like 40 different ways. It's just, no. And so he's like, so his response, being my boss, was find a way to do it. And I'm like, no.
I mean, at first you current 93 your way through that situation and just sort of speak in a dramatic way that is not really singing.
Exactly. The general public's bar for this is exceedingly low, Trent, I have to say.
Just auto-tune.
That's what George said. I mentioned it to George, and he said, auto-tune is your friend. I'm like, if I knew how to do it, that would probably be the case, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's called auto-tune, so it does it automatically, right? That's all.
If you know where to turn it on.
I'm just picturing Trent doing like the Peter Frampton, good time, Shadowrun, chummer. I'm just expecting to hear him do that.
Except for the fact that it's going to sound like you ever accidentally pick up for those of you who have ever had to deal with dial-up internet, you ever accidentally pick up the phone while you're connected to that's what my singing sounds like. It's just but it's like 3 different incredibly dissonant tones all at the same time.
It'll be fine.
Static.
Like, the thing is, you keep telling us how awful apparently your singing is, but like that just makes me more curious to hear.
Exactly. You're not helping your cause.
Too much.
One day we will meet in person, and I will get you so drunk that you will start to sing.
How deep is your love?
You don't want that.
Just don't go on those audition shows.
Yeah, exactly.
You really don't want that. No.
Oh man.
No.
Then we will like sing sea chanties together. And
No, I used to sing sea shanties at the Renaissance Festival, and that was bad enough. Anyway, so I'm playing this big old guy named Tonnebear, the Hearthminder, who is kind of a pacifist. But now that we're where we are, he's probably going to have to start kicking some ass or something. like that.
Under those circumstances. It is always a pleasure, of course, to have Tren with us, and I can't wait for that and for his debut of his singing career. Moving right along, right down below him, we have, of course, as many people have commented today, the lustrous locks of Mr. Will Jones is visible here, and you can see, just like, he looks like some people in quarantine end up looking like something out of the Island of Dr. Moreau, but Will just looks cooler every day, and like that's how this goes down. How are you doing right now, Will? My job is to thoroughly embarrass all of my players. Now, how are you doing, Will? How's life in
I'm good. I'm good. Hair is growing as it does. But though I am worried because my granddad used to have really long hair at my age, and then he went bald at like 25. So maybe it's just I get a lot now.
Enjoy it now, my friend.
10 years time, yeah.
Enjoy it now.
We're in Georgia, so everything's sort of like Fallout 76 out there. Occasionally you see an NPC pop up, and it's all right, I guess, but people are mostly dying. No, it's all right here in Georgia. We're just chilling inside, streaming, playing games, all that good stuff. Really, I'm glad to be here, honestly, because I haven't played a game of D&D in a couple of weeks now. So yeah, I'm excited to be playing Robar Staunton, King of the Vale, Rider of the Eagles, Edgelord Extreme right now because he's rocking a full-on 11 Shadow Point.
Yeah,
he is. And he missed last week because of Comcast. Full was I. I bought Xfinity Internet, and I was like, that doesn't say Comcast on it. And then I get on the app, and it's like owned by Comcast, and I'm like, God damn it.
Son of a, yeah.
It's all run by this one monopoly. So, yes, but I'm here this week. I'm excited to catch up, and it sounds like looking on the screen, we're in some combat, so I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
May potentially be. We will see. But it's always a pleasure to have Will back with us. Also a pleasure to have back with us, of course, Terry Toons, who was talking to us about some Silmarillion lore. So we were all like, all into it. We were talking about it and chatting about it. And it was funny because she asked both me first and then Amal, and she was like, yeah, I wanted to ask you about a couple of these passages here. And so I was like, okay, in fairness, I have not read the Silmarillion in like 15 years. And Amal comes on, she's like, it's been 15 years since I've read that. I'm like, yes, exactly. Now, of course, I'm inspired, and I do want to read it again after I finish reading Martha Wells' Murderbot stuff, because I have more of those to read. So because those books are awesome. So I'm going to read those, and then I'm going to read the Silmarillion again so I can have a sensible, refreshed conversation with Terry about it.
We need to have like a podcast situation going.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Just like, what's cool about this? So why are elves dumb? And all that.
All the reasons. Oh my God, elves are so...
Terry's anti-elf thing was pretty funny.
The river is going to kick your butt.
I know she's not going to be happy.
Like that.
How?
Well, I mean, is her girlfriend an Aldor, though? Probably not. She's probably Sindarin, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a wood elf, so yeah, she's
right.
One of the more.
Well, she's just a little bit dumb, but like still.
Not that dumb.
I mean, as far as River's concerned, you just like say that to her face, huh? Just.
Well, like the thing is, like all of this stuff.
Delve into
like
this particular dungeon.
Thousands and thousands of years ago, so like. Inge wouldn't know any of this crap. Like that's like the whole reason why I'm reading this book, because I want to know how much my character would know about actually the world around her.
Well, listen, all I can say is that, listen, Inge, some years from now, some decades from now, let's say there was a hypothetical dwarf whose name rhymed with Bimley hanging out with an elf whose hypothetical name rhymed with Begalus. They may have a chance to redo some of the dwarven elven really, and you may feel differently about elves. I'm just saying, like, your people may connect again. It could happen.
Oh, no. Inge likes elves.
Okay.
I don't like them.
Okay. Player versus character. All right, well, when you're not reading the Silmarillion and hating on elves, how's your life otherwise, and who are you playing today?
Well, okay, so I made a thing specifically for this game. I made myself a new clipboard. Just to keep my notes in.
Ooh,
yes,
shiny.
hand-painted.
Wow. In crits we trust.
Really nice.
That's
badass.
badass.
I put on a t-shirt.
That is pretty sweet.
It's hand-painted, and like sadly, like I don't think you guys can see that through the camera if I hold it like this, maybe.
A little bit.
Like
In crits we trust is a great shirt. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you make that into a shirt, Tari?
I can do that.
Yes.
Bring that.
But yeah, like sadly, when I applied the varnish, like it softened up the paint in place and got like wobbly and weird, and now it's like odd looking. Oh well, that's what you get when you paint on a €1 clipboard, I guess.
It's so cool.
But yeah, otherwise I'm pretty proud of this. Like originally I wanted to do like a whole lot of the Rings thing, but then I was like, okay, this game isn't gonna last forever, ever, sadly. So, and I want to keep using this after some point. So I was like, let's do a general gaming thing.
Yes.
So that's what I made.
It's good stuff.
I wanted to mention something else. And I forgot. Oh yeah, like I mentioned that earlier before we started streaming to the other guys, but like you guys need to know. That I came up with a new drinking game when watching a lot of the Rings movies. Drink every time you see, like, somebody says the name of a place that's also a metal band name. You will get shit-faced so quickly.
Or I need to go to the bathroom real bad.
Okay.
True that.
Okay, that means I have more time to talk. Good. So, here's my 50-page essay on why Feanor is a tool.
He is unfortunately made into a tool of the Dark Lord.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
The ultimate tool. But of course, your character is not a tool, serves no one but herself and her companions.
Well, she
and that
does serve
person
King
is, he said, segueing wildly.
Well, she does serve King Dain, so.
Okay, that's true. Serves King Dain.
She is Inge, daughter of Ida. She is a dwarf of the Erebor, of Durin's folk. Need to still figure out which clan, because now I know there's like 7 different clans.
Yes, I'd be
Which I
interested.
didn't know before. Or was it 5? I forgot. Anyway. But yeah, probably Durin's folk. She is from the Erebor. Anyway, she is Wanderer and a stonemason, and she has this trusty pony sidekick named Lilleman.
Currently in hiding.
Currently in hiding with plot armor. Can't forget that.
One would hope. It is always a pleasure, of course, to have Terry with us. You will also see Terry doing gamebook illustration stuff as well. That will be coming soon. And last, but certainly not least,
to draw
of course.
Cars.
Yeah, yep, exactly. It's going to be great. It's the Car Wars gamebook. Oh, man. I'm so excited to see many Mohawks.
I'm not.
Many Mohawks. Right below Terry, of course, we have Amal, who is with us. Hi, Amal. How are you? How is life in Canada? And who are you playing today?
I'm okay. Things here are okay, knocking on wood. It has, in contrast to Georgia, been snowing in May here.
Mm-hmm.
It snowed, did it snow yesterday? It snowed for like 2 or 3 days in a row, and sort of sometimes actually thick flurries and sometimes just little spitty, haily bits. But it has been quite chilly, and it's quite chilly out there now. It's like 3 degrees Celsius, I think. Which actually I'm weirdly grateful for, because it makes being stuck indoors more bearable, even though it's an odd spring. But yeah, things are not bad otherwise. I have started teaching again, and I'm teaching online and remotely, and discovering that there is no exhaustion quite like the exhaustion of teaching a 3-hour class over Zoom.
Yeah.
It's astonishing. Even like the class itself is great. Like the students are fantastic, but it's like when you do any new kind of exercise and the exercise makes you aware of muscles that you didn't realize were where they are because
Right.
you're sore in them all of a sudden.
Right.
That it's like that, but for my brain. And it's just like the degree of things to pay attention to and the ways in which to try and figure out what kind of engagement you're getting from students when you can't see most of their faces and things like that. It's just, by the end of it, I'm literally wrecked in the kind of way where I can't do anything. Like I can't, like, you know, when someone's concussed and literally cannot do any kind of stimulus at all, can't read books, can't watch TV, whatever, that's how I feel after it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting and hard.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that twice a week, so on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'm trying to make sure no other Zoom things are scheduled on those days. But anyway, other than that, things are okay. My book is out in paperback. I'm excited about
Yay.
that. An award ceremony happening this weekend online for the British Science Fiction Awards that are going to, I think they're going to be announced on Friday, and Time War is up for an award there. And so
Let's go.
Be nice. But yeah, other than that, I am playing a woodsman of Rosgobel called the River, and she and her faithful houndstone are, well, just her. I mean, she has her faithful houndstone, but she is quite laden with shadow in a way that is very distressing to me personally. I extremely do not want her to become capital M miserable, but, well, who knows? The dice will speak as they will. And it's not fine, but we'll see what we see. Anyway, she is a fighty bard. She talked to a dragon after aggressively playing the harp at it. You gotta take the victories where you have them.
Where you can, it's true. I am excited, of course, to
One
have...
last thing I will say
yes.
is that in the good column, my apartment currently smells like baking bread, and I'm very excited. And if all goes well, then at some point in the next 10 minutes or so, my husband might come into this room bearing a slice of this freshly baked loaf that I made,
Wow.
slathered in things.
Wow.
And I'll eat it. I will turn my video off.
And then he will send us some of them.
Right, I was going to say, and then you will parcel post us the...
at some point during the stream, my wife might come in with last night's takeout reheated from the microwave for me.
I mean, everything is good. I had some lunch before we started, so.
Well, it is a pleasure to have everyone with us. I am very excited for that. I'm also best of luck on the BSFA. I'm fully aware that you have other great people in that category, as you keep mentioning, but I am a devotee of your book, as you know, and so I am very excited and hope that it has all the awards when all is said and done.
You mean this book?
That's the one.
Yeah, I would go get mine that I've shown off many times. No, it really is a good book, like legit, super, super good. Anyway, but with that said, let us get into today's session, folks, because we got some issues to deal with for the party. I can hear the music on your side, but I'm not hearing it yet. So on my side.
Should I put headphones in? I just realized everyone else has them, and I usually do, but...
You probably will.
The music, actually.
Yeah, you probably will need it just because otherwise we might get it twice. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but...
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's normal to me.
While she does that, I'm going to find where the devil is the volcano. Show me.
I just want to talk about the Silmarillion.
Not that. Not that. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. There's that. And let's see. Last thing is, we do something a little different, I think, from Air Prelude. Let's do this one. How's that? Give me some of that music. Good. Perfect. All right. So here's what happened in our last session, lovely folks of chat. In our last session, the party, of course... Oh, there it is. There's the bread.
That's a loaf right there.
Exactly. That's a loaf of bread. That's awesome. I am a huge fan of fresh bread. So, the party has made their way into the withered Heath and has made its way eventually through the waste and into the Grey Mountains to find the watchtower Zarakanbar, a watchtower that was abandoned, actually not abandoned, but probably they were forced to be. I'm sure the dwarves would be offended to think of it as being abandoned, but the dwarves were defeated and driven from this watchtower some time ago. And so Zarakanbar has stayed isolated until now, when it has, as the party has discovered, been taken over again by a party of apparently orcs, perhaps other creatures that they're not fully aware of, and most importantly, the Gibbet King, which is the shadow that has gradually been growing upon the borders of Wilderland. Thanks to the party's bravery, they were able to stop at the crossings of Anduin. They were actually able to stop them. The crossings of Selduin, I beg your pardon. The party was able to stop the army from invading in the past. But all that did was blunt the Gibbet King's purpose. And now the Gibbet King has gone gone north to this watchtower for some particular ritual. The party was not clear, the company was not clear what this ritual was, until it put two and two together. It ran into the ghost of the old master of Laketown that had been driven into the desert and died in the waste, which told them that there was a great amount of gold that could be discovered within this watchtower. And then they, of course, met Raynor, the great drake, the white dragon of the north. And having spoken to the dragon, they realized leading up to this that the Gibbet King's plan was to take this enormous chain and essentially enslave Raynor as it did Smaug's father in the distant past. And with the power of that dragon combined with the Gibbet King's shadowy power, could basically lay waste to much of Wilderland. This is the plot that the party has discovered. And so they managed to convince Raynor, A, not to eat them, that was a good achievement, and then B, to actually work with them. And so Raynor demanded that they essentially infiltrate, find the Gibbet King, confront the Gibbet King, and then Raynor himself would aid them in some as yet undiscerned way. So we don't yet know what that's going to be. Thank you for the follow along, Bingo. Welcome to the Argonauts. So we don't yet know what that is exactly, but they know that something about that is going to be involved. Sorry, I'm just moving things around. There we go. We know that something is going to be involved with that dragon helping them. The party made it all the way to into the mountainside, into Zurakan and on the bottom level during our last session, they ended up discovering a secret entrance that led to a lightless basement, except for two rooms that had furnaces, which are clearly meant to furnish the rest of the watchtower with heat. Manning those two rooms, they discovered a couple of creatures, including a couple of unusual, one in particular, unusual orc, that seemed to be writing notes and taking notes down, which was A, unusual that orcs would have any interest in taking notes about things or writing, and B, that they had some strange kind of design or sigil that was listed on, that was marked essentially on their armor, which was unusual to the party. It wasn't difficult to defeat them, fortunately. The party was able to take them out without too much trouble, and then made their way over through the passageway and then up the stairs up to further levels as they continue their search for the Gibbet King. And as they reached the top of the stairs, and the one thing I don't remember actually was whether it was Robar that was making his way up the stairs, or who, I don't remember which one of you was making your way up the stairs to scout out. Was it Inga?
It was Inga.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Inga, when she got to the top of those stairs, of that particular flight of stairs, heard the sound of guttural talking coming from a large room to the south. Okay, see you, Chaotix. Be well, man. And then one even larger sounding large creature, and the sound of something being banged against the floor, possibly a stone club or hammer or some weapon, but it seems to be used in sync, let's say, with the talking of that large sounding voice. And so it was right at the end of that the party, that we brought our session to a close. And I will just mention, in case we've forgotten since last month, just a couple of quick notes. Number one, as we mentioned, shadow points are a real thing. Inga has 11 shadow points as of right now, and also 40 out of 45 hit points. The River has got 45 out of 45 and has 14 shadow points. Robar has 45 out of 45, very popular number, and has 11 shadow points. And Tani has 36 out of 41, has 4 shadow points and a level of exhaustion. And of course, Stone, 24 out of 24. Stone is fine, relatively speaking, though everyone here is weighed down by the shadow. Last note, it is the middle of day 11, and so I'm not going to call for a shadow point check yet, without other things occurring, maybe. But I did want to mention that you are about in the middle of the day by your estimates. And there is a flight of stairs next to you, Inga, that you can see. So you're coming up. In fact, let me bring you over here. So you're, let's say...
I was about to say we're already on the other map.
Yeah, you're basically here, which is right there.
Oh.
You're right there, and your party is right below you on the stairs, and there's another flight of stairs here. So you've got a sort of a entrance leading out that way, an exit out that way, an exit to the west on this floor. Excuse me. The sound that you heard of talking is coming from somewhere down in here. Not entirely sure where, but somewhere down there. But then there's another flight of stairs leading up, and there doesn't seem to be anything in this room where you are. And with that, I will hand things back over to the party. What would you like to do?
Okay, after Inge hears the voices, she is gonna sneak back down and gonna inform her party about what she has heard, and is gonna ask them, do you want me to scout ahead, or should we just go avoid the voices?
Am I misremembering that you described actually seeing orcs last time, Arv?
No, not seeing them. Hearing sounds. You heard the sounds of things which must obviously sound like orcs. Pretty good guess.
Right.
I might have mentioned that you might have seen some shadowy movement from down here. I might have said that, but nothing specific. You did, of course, run into those 2 orcs that you killed already. But these are other ones that are presumably. But again, there's another voice which is, it's a lot bigger sounding than an orc, coming from there as well.
And we, I just want to remind myself of the discussion that we had with Raynar, where it was, he wants us to I can't remember, sorry, I'm very, very slow today. Everything is taking longer than usual.
That's okay.
But so we decided, like, I remember a conversation in which he was like, I can destroy the Gibbet King
Right.
with my breath,
Right.
but we are supposed to destroy the chain, or are we supposed to
No,
just,
not destroy
like,
the chain, although,
Okay.
I mean, it's, but that you're supposed to confront, the Gibbet King, basically find him, and then essentially distract him, or
Okay.
keep him
Gotcha.
occupied, basically,
Gotcha.
is the impression
We're
that
running
you got.
interference. Okay. That's
Yes.
all.
So there was some discussion as to whether or not dragon fire would be hot enough to melt the chain.
Correct.
As well.
That's right.
Right.
Well, I mean,
That's
he
what it
doesn't
was.
spit fire, though. He spits ice.
Yes.
Right, but it's a kind of acidic, sort of. Yes, that's true, but it's the worst kind of ice. it's the worst kind of freezer burn, right? I
Some
would
say
say.
the world will end in fire. Some say in ice.
Yes.
Etc. Okay. So, and the other things, I just want to also recap the things that we know about the tower.
Sure.
So we know that there is a chamber of winds somewhere in the tower.
Correct, and you can I actually have the sound effect up for this. You can hear the winds are getting stronger. I should have mentioned this before, Inga. I think I did last time, but just to remind you, the sound of wind is getting much stronger as you go up the stairs. There was a draft, you may remember, that was coming down from the stairs, but the sound is also getting louder, and you can hear it above you. It's definitely not on this level that it's coming from. It seems to be the second level that you were scouting out, Inga. It seems to be even higher than that this howling wind is coming from,
Okay.
and that may be this aforementioned chamber of winds.
And
In
could I
that
ask-
case, Inge, I would announce that Inge, when she notices the wind, that
Yeah.
she will pay attention to her volume of speaking. Because,
So that
the wind
doesn't
might carry her voice to where she doesn't want her voice to be carried.
Right.
And the other thing was, could I ask you to remind us of what was written in the book about the Chamber of Winds?
Yes, the Chamber of Winds, as the book described it. Let me go back and get my notes.
I'm also gonna have to go and get my notes from the other room.
That's okay.
This
So
room, I will say, this was our quarantine room for the last several weeks, and then we made a setup instead where we're quarantining groceries and post in that closet so that we can actually have the use of this room. But as a consequence, all of my role playing was happening in the dining room, and so yeah.
So the Chamber of Winds, as it was explained to you in the book, is a chamber where 8 tunnels meet, and there are 8 windows which look out over the world. And basically, from the way that it's described, each of the tunnels had a separate door that can be opened or closed independently. And when the wind blew, the tunnels became sort of these musical instruments, and the mountain produced very powerful sounds, presumably used by the watchmen in case of emergency. But there was a note that when the wind blows from the north, it's not a good idea to open the north, south, and northeast doors simultaneously, or the mountain's howl would be so loud as to be dangerous.
North, south, which one?
And northeast.
North, south, and northeast. I'm just making myself a little diagram of stuff.
Hey, Coven Guy.
So it equals doom. Interesting. I don't suppose, would our scout people, would Robar or Inga have particularly noticed where the wind was blowing from before we came into the tower?
I don't think so because you hadn't been paying attention to that specifically. Although, if there are,
rains over Mordor today.
the winds blow from the north. It is a cold. If you were to get up to the Chamber of Winds, and if it's true that they are open somewhat to the air outside, you might be able to find out that way. Or if you can find like an arrow slit or something like that in one of the walls as you go around here. I don't think you were paying attention to that leading up to this, or at least I don't believe you had mentioned that you were. So, yeah.
Okay. So, and the one other thing that we knew about the tower, a couple of other things that we knew about the tower, there's a Raven chamber somewhere up there as well.
Right, Raven's Perch, which is over, actually, the Chamber of Winds, even, where ravens that the dwarves use for messengers would fly into and out of.
Right. And the other thing was that there is a secret room full of treasure that there is like a secret entrance to from one of the chambers on the left. Right?
That's right, the last bed chamber on the left, with the entrance hidden in the floor. And there was a discussion you may remember last time about where the bed chambers were, because the book doesn't specify that.
Right. So looking at the map here, there is a left chamber here.
Yeah, there is.
But obviously we don't know anything. So I just want to keep those things rattling in all our heads as we plan. So Inga comes back down and tells us that there are probably orcish voices and stuff.
Or something bigger.
And that if we keep going, so our options are either to keep going up the stairs and try to be unseen, or to explore the second floor and risk an encounter.
Well, like Inga would say, maybe it's best if I go sneak around a bit and see what I can find, and then get back to you. Because there might also be people upstairs.
Huh. There might be, but if you said that there's a powerful wind, we might presume that this knowledge that we have of the tower is secret, that they wouldn't necessarily know how to use it, or how to use these different things that we're aware of. So it might be worth going up. If the wind is blowing the right way, is it possible that we could deafen everyone in the tower before attacking them or distracting them in order for Raynar to do what he needs to do?
I have no idea.
Maybe. I don't know.
Of course, I mean, we might be extremely hurt by it as well. I don't know. Tawny, do you have any wax to stop our ears with?
No.
Well, I don't know. It's worth thinking about, perhaps. But Inga, you want to explore by yourself on the second floor?
I can come with you. I'm pretty quiet.
Okay.
Not right. This is me, not River. I can't remember who's been failing the stealth checks most lately.
Depending on the time of the session and whatever, all of us.
Yeah.
Well, there's no Anduin that crosses through this point, so that...
There are no rivers near here.
Only a river of wind.
No.
But,
Oh god, that was a question on QI once.
if you
What is the biggest river? And then it was like, yeah, it's a Nile River. No, it's an Amazon. No, it's like some river of wind. That's like upper atmosphere.
If you want to explore on your own, Tanya and I can keep at the furnaces so that they don't notice anything amiss, perhaps. If that's what you want to do.
That makes sense.
That would mean that we're probably too far to be called for help if that were the case.
We can handle ourselves.
don't like the idea of what's the term? Splitting our party. I don't know.
Splitting our company fellowship.
Don't you
Everything
you
gets split in the end.
Oh, jeez.
Including my hair.
Oh.
What if actually we go in 2 groups? I'm wondering if we can try and explore further up the stairs while you look at the 2nd floor instead of just waiting here.
I mean, I would suggest we get ourselves disguises, but given how great that worked the last 2 times, I'm not sure it's such a great idea.
We could at least wear the cloaks.
Yeah, they are pretty stupid.
All right. Tawny, what do you think?
In any other circumstance, I would be more readily accepting of us splitting up. But given the nature of what we're dealing with, any delay in backing each other up, because the 2 of you may be able to take care of yourselves, and I'm not saying that the river can't, but I'm a little out of practice when it comes to fighting. So,
Well, I guess in that case, I'm gonna go see which is the safest route. Well, Robot, I'm gonna check which is the safest route and then call you up, I would say. Should take only a few minutes. So our destination is the Chamber of Winds for now? Or...
For now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go then.
Right behind you.
All right. So, you're going to make your way up then to the stairs. Let me zoom out a little bit and bring. And are you, while you're doing this, are River and Tani, are you going to stay in your positions down there? Or are you like going? Are you just like standing? Because right now Tani is just sort of was peeking around the edge, looking up at the stairs, and so were you, Robar. So if you're now going to go, and I think it was the River was actually on the stairs with Stone.
Yeah.
So are you now going to keep those positions, except that Robar is going to go up with Ingo, or no?
I think River will stay like here. Like
Okay.
we'll want to stay out of sight of someone looking down the stairs. But also like as close as possible for hearing
Okay.
anything.
Okay, reasonable. All right, so Robar, do you want to move your token next to next to Ingus? And then I'm going to ask both of you as you go around to those stairs to make a stealth check for me, please.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
Do you really need to ask for that?
Are
I
you
do.
sure?
I do indeed.
All right, 16.
Okay. So you are not quite as quiet as you would have liked to be, Inga, on your way up the stairs. But despite this, you don't sort of kick any stones that echo wildly or, to come out of game for a second, Pippin in the film style. You don't get anything like that. So as you get to the top of this set of stairs...
one quick note.
Sure.
For everybody to take a moment to remember the qualities of their armor and or weapons and where they have advantages or lack of disadvantage because of the runes employed in their armor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get automatic advantage on orcs, so...
Exactly,
No matter
Kevin.
the
No
weapon.
fool of a took. Exactly. And now that you're actually listening for it, you can hear, Inga still hears, of course, what you heard before, and you, Robar, as you get to the top, can hear that same kind of... And then... this very low, guttural voice that's even more guttural and lower than the other voices. The other thing, too, that you can notice is that there is a little bit of echoing, but it seems to be coming from down somewhere in here. As you peer into the shadows, you don't see anything obvious that's down there. But I will say that both of you get the sense that there's definitely a number of voices down there. It's not just one or two. And you may remember that you had heard some talking on the bottom level, but that was definitely just two. There's definitely more than that here.
Let's go, from our point of view, to the right first. Like over here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. Wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait, what?
Okay, right. So over there. Okay. All right.
Sneak.
As you come to this, I will have you make a stealth check for me too, please. Same for Robar if he's going with her, assuming that you're going along.
Yeah, going in. All right.
That
14.
looks...
Okay. So you move over fairly quietly over to the edge of this room. And this looks somewhat similar to some of the side rooms that you saw down below off of the cellars. These look like they are more what used to be empty chambers. There's some shattered remains of furniture and debris that's in here. But otherwise, this looks pretty much deserted and dark. If there are indeed orcs in this place somewhere, they haven't been using this, it looks like. There's not even any, bedrolls or straw or any, recently used campfire debris or anything like that. It's just, this empty room with a bunch of shattered wood.
Okay. In that case, I think Inge would like to sneak up over here and peek around the corner.
And I will ask for another stealth check there, please.
Please be here.
Ah!
Wow. Suddenly she just vanishes from sight. Like, oh my god.
In crits we trust.
I'm bad.
Yeah, in crits we trust.
Yeah, exactly. That's what did it. So you move over very quietly, and Robar, I'm going to ask you to do the same. Not that, not that you'll measure up to...
No, I will. I will ask him to do exactly the same.
17.
Yeah, not quite as impressive. So it's not bad,
Try.
but it's sort of it's. So as you come up to this place, you can see that this is a little similar to the other room in that it is empty and there is shattered furniture. But the big difference here is that I can actually reveal a little bit more of this. The big difference here is that the outside of this room seems to be kind of curved. And so you can see there's almost a little kind of curved wall that bulges outward here. But again, there seems to be mostly just kind of shattered furniture. But the talking sound is much larger, and you can hear now echoing as well. Thank you, Rogue Leader Echo. Welcome to the Argonauts. Thank you for the follow. It's coming from in here, and the voice is echoing. So you can now hear... and so there must be a considerably larger chamber down here to produce that kind of echo. Not Chamber of Winds chamber per se, because you don't hear blowing coming from down here. The Robar, where you're standing, you can feel the wind is again much stronger up these flight of stairs going upwards, and it's colder up there as well. It's not warm anywhere in here, but it's definitely colder. There's cold draft coming from down the stairs above you.
Okay, Robar, you go check upstairs. If the coast is clear.
Yep.
Okay.
I will give that a go.
All right. So you are going to explore up the stairs. Okay. As you all further split the party. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. What could go wrong?
We're like 4 meters apart from each other. Just saying.
I know.
Keeping social distancing.
We're
That's
keeping
very good.
social distancing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Give me 1 second. This is the classic. I want to make sure I don't reveal too much. Let me block off that for a second so that chat doesn't see this. So they don't see the monstrosity which remains. Okay, wait.
It's a Tarrasque. Ah!
You have found a Tarrasque. Oh, actually, that's not too bad.
See?
Rather pleased with myself. Okay. Yeah, the Tarrasque is fine. I don't know what you mean. Okay.
That looks like it's going to be our Chamber of Winds over there.
Okay, here we go. So when you come up to the very top of this, first of all, Robar, I need you to make a stealth check for me here, please.
Why did he need to make one beforehand? He didn't move at all.
Yeah, well, because he was coming. No, when he moved over to the room to the west, he did.
No
he
problem.
Moved.
17.
Okay.
Destroying these stealth checks.
Okay, so.
Don't taunt the monkey.
Okay, so this is basically you. When you come up here, first of all, you notice. Let me see if I can kick in the sound effect for more. The wind is much, much stronger here, and the entire area here is much colder as well. You can actually see as you sort of look around. Oh, and actually, I should ask this too. Do you have like a torch or something like that with you? Because there's.
Yeah, I've got a torch in my adventuring pack.
Okay, so I didn't know if you were using it or not, because Inga could technically see in the dark
We
already
did get
somewhat, but...
like the lantern last time. I'm
But I
assuming we
think the
took...
lanterns. I thought they were staying down there just to like
Okay.
not draw
Right,
attention to
exactly.
ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
But I mean, it's. So you see a couple things. Number one, there is a closed door off here to the east. But also, there are, in this area, a number of, as you're sort of looking around the room, these, what look like sort of small, not pillars. They almost seem like, a better way to describe them might even be like skylights. They're letting in air and light. So I should say, you don't have to worry about light, actually, now that I think of it. But air and light that are coming in, not from all of them. It looks like some of them are probably blocked, but there are a couple that are still open to above, and you can hear the wind howling above them. But in particular, you hear the wind howling from here. And it actually is a low, almost like a low kind of resonant sound, almost a moaning might be the way to describe it. Pretty quiet, that you can hear in there. The other thing, though, I would need you to make a perception check for me. All that you just heard, you can do without that, but
28.
What?
wow.
19 on the die.
God.
You hear Inga's breathing down below. It's like they say you breathe like a dwarf. All right. You hear what sounds like a crackling sound, almost like the crackling that you heard, down below in the furnace, except here, as you're down there, the sound is much, much louder, and it sounds as if there's almost a full blazing fire or bonfire coming from that area to the southwest. Now, right now, this door is closed over. It's a stone door which is closed over, but you can still hear, even through the door, the crackling of fire. So you have the blowing of the wind, it's cold, and the crackling of the fire to the southwest. Also,
Big wheel.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Also over to the southeast, the last sort of feature of this room is what looks like a spiral staircase, about maybe 20 feet in diameter or so, going upwards. So this is the first level that it appears.
Okay, I'm gonna scurry on back down to Inga, I think.
Okay? You can move yourself back up there if
Put
you want.
myself back in.
Okay.
Like, psst, Inga. Yeah. Up there, a lot of wind and a bonfire coming from a room. I think that might be it.
Okay, then let's go call the others and go up.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like so paranoid right now because on Thursdays I've been playing Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh,
So-
wow. That'll make you paranoid. You're not paranoid enough from this campaign? I would think that,
No, like that one took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you folks head back down, and you won't need to make a stealth check for that if you're just staying on the stairs, basically. Okay, and when you arrive back down, you can move your tokens over to here if you wish. And the others, Tani and the river, you see I guess not the lantern light, because I assume you have them concealed at the moment, but you see your companions making their way down the stairs.
Right.
I think we found the way to the Chamber of Winds.
Yeah.
And the coast seems to be clear enough, so let's go.
Amazing. All right, let's do it. Is there anything down here before we go that, like, we took the cloaks? That's right. We did take them because we were thinking we would show them back to if we managed to get back to anywhere.
Yep.
And we took like the ledger and stuff like that.
I don't think we were gonna be going back.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see. But yeah, we looted the corpses essentially. I'm just wondering if there's anything here that can be used to protect our ears if in the event of a Chamber of Winds incident. There was a lot of coal, but was there any were there candles? Was there wax?
There were not candles or wax. There was you have the lanterns on you already. There was the shovel that they were using to dig the coal.
Knock ourselves out, and then we'll be fine.
Right,
Got
exactly.
ourselves a shallow grave.
We build a giant Trojan rabbit.
All right.
But yeah, pretty much not. I mean, most of the stuff down there is, the basement is essentially looks deserted except for those two furnaces that are apparently doing very small amounts of work to keep. Because you get the impression that there probably were several other furnaces elsewhere maybe that might have warmed this place. And yet these are right now the only ones keeping it even vaguely, habitable. And as you got closer, Robar, to the top floor, it was not feeling particularly habitable up there.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna have to be quiet because there are voices up there.
All right, so we're all heading up the stairs.
Okay.
Yep.
So as all of you move over to here, I'm going to ask everyone to make a stealth check for me, please, as they get to the top of the stairs and begin to move around to the other flight of stairs.
Aha!
Okay.
Sneaky. Sneaky
Indeed.
little hobbit says sneaky.
Inga quietly moves up the stairs.
Sneaky.
The river not as quietly, but still quietly moves. Tani is just glides up the stairs.
Embarrassed myself.
Robar.
Oh, Robar! You spoke
This
the
had to
words of
happen.
hubris.
Exactly.
As a consequence.
I'm nailing these stealth checks.
Is that water? Oh no.
So you may exactly. You see, Seldwyn was here. Anduin was here on the stairs, and you lose it. No, you as you make your way up the stairs, you're sort of making your way up, and then as you sort of move to turn around and make the curve over, one rock kicks out from your foot, Robar, and clatters against the side wall here, and you hear, and the talking stops for a second, and then. Okay, and so there's sort of talk back and forth a little bit, and then you hear what sounds like footsteps coming from over here.
Uh-oh, let's move.
Yep.
Okay.
You're all going up the stairs again?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Move yourselves, please, over to here then, and I will bring you all down to where that is. Okay. And then as you get in here, I'm going to ask you to make one more stealth check as you get to the top of that area.
Oh, nat 20 redemption.
Okay. You're just so...
Just playing.
10.
Okay. So River, who definitely wants to go quickly, and Tawny sort of
Yes.
make their ways up. Go ahead. So you make a little bit of noise going up there. And as you get to the top of the stairs, from below you, so down, the flight of stairs down below, you hear, and you hear two voices only now, that are sort of talking clearly in Orcish, presumably, talking to each other. And you hear also what sounds like maybe a faint sniffing, although I should say that coming to the top of the stairs, it's harder to hear because the wind sound is considerably louder. But right now, there just seems to be talking going on down below at the foot of the stairs. Yes, Inge, you're going to say.
Can Tony understand any of the words they are saying?
Yeah, you have, because of the tongues thing. basically what you hear is sort of, anything? Nothing. It's stupid. Could be wrong. Maggot. Sort of like bits and pieces. Clearly they're looking for whatever made the sound. And
What was that noise? Whose footprints are these?
yeah, exactly. And as they're doing this, as they're making their sounds, you also get the impression, although this is often the default state for orcs, that they're just kind of pissed off in general, just kind of like, it's cold, like this job is terrible apparently. But after about a minute or so, unless any of you like jump down the stairs and say huzzah, they
Don't tempt me.
their voices move off and get quieter as they go back in to the wherever they were from, the room down below. Which leads all of you at the top of this flight of stairs in this hall. And as I've described it, again, this place is it's a somewhat smaller room than the one that you were just in on the lower level. There is a door that you can see off to the east here, and there's another one that's to the southwest here. And this flight of spiral stairs, the spiral staircase, which is leading upwards. And there is a much greater sound of howling coming from this area. And also, the rest of you don't necessarily hear this unless you want to make perception checks. But if you don't, Robar would point out to you the sound of crackling, like a fire. But
Oh, he did point that out.
okay, so definitely louder than what you heard down below coming from the furnace. So.
Inge would like to sneak over to that door here and press her ear against the door to hear if there's anything.
Okay.
There.
I will ask you to make a stealth check for me and then a perception check, please.
So the skylights that are in here, right? Oh, sorry.
Okay, as you make your way over, again, a lot of sort of loose debris around here, and you kick a couple of them, but no sound responds. The wind, fortunately for you, seems to be drowning out a lot of other potential sound here. You were going to ask me, River, before I go back to...
Yeah, the skylights. You said something about some of the skylights are blocked up.
Yes.
What are they blocked up with?
That is hard to tell from down here. It looks like it might just be... It could be sort of like natural, like almost like a cave-in type of thing, like rocks that sort of came down from the top. But whether that was man/dwarf/orc made, or whether that was just kind of a natural feature of this not being maintained for some time is hard to tell. The two that are open, incidentally, I guess I can mark these, are this one.
Just like imagining that there are stork nests at the top.
And this one, yeah.
Does that happen in America? Like
Little
storks
bit.
making nests on chimneys?
Depends on where you
Yeah,
are.
Mhm.
there are other birds that will do that.
Yep.
So interesting. Okay, so interesting. I think so. River will ask Inga actually. Okay, so the things that River is interested in exploring are the spiral staircase up here,
Okay.
and what's hard to know about the doors is like. Actually, does this door here, does it look like something we can open?
Yes. The one here to the southwest is a big stone door, which you'll have to figure out what to deal with. This one looks like a door similar to the ones that you've encountered down below. I mean, it could be locked, but that you haven't tried it yet. But that's also when you listen to that, you don't hear anything in particular unusual coming from that room. It all seems quiet, other than the howling of the wind that is everywhere up here.
Then I'm gonna try to open it sneakily.
Okay. You are able to open it. Actually, it does not appear to be locked. And inside, you see a small, relatively small room, about what is that? About 25 by 20, something like that, or 20 by 25. And you can see that there are 4 more of these skylights here, and here these skylights seem to all be open. And again, all of these skylights are letting in shafts of light from the gray but still midday sky. and the wind here howls and swirls. And I should note that there's sort of like all this stone dust and stuff which kind of kicks up at your feet, Inga, so it all kind of swirls around you. Very cold as well, extremely cold up here.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. I think River would like to explore the spiral staircase.
Okay.
The thing she's gonna ask Inga when Tari's back is just to ask her opinion on what looks like it might be blocking the skylights, or if like her stonemasonry knowledge and stuff has any insight into that.
Okay. Okay, when she comes back, well, I'll have her do a check for that.
Awesome.
In the meantime, if you want to go up the stairs, you can do that. And if you're going to do so in a quiet way, I'm assuming, then I'll ask you to make a stealth check as you do that.
Yes.
Was I having Stone do separate stealth checks with you, by the way? I should have asked that before. Did we decide that he was doing a collective one or one that was... I don't remember if I had him doing separate ones.
I honestly can't remember. I feel like they were doing separate ones when we were in the cave with the trolls.
Yeah, I thought so too. So I'm going to have him do... I won't make you do one for all the ones downstairs, but just do one here as he's going up these stairs, please. For him as well. Okay, so that's you. You quietly make your way up, no problem.
Stone. I think we said it was just a straight dex check.
Yes. Yeah, he has a little bit of trouble, mostly because of the stairs. The spiral is not kind of natural to go up for something on four legs, but he manages to make his way up behind you, and you find yourself as you go up this on the what you would assume is the top of the tower. Let me see if I can reveal that.
Royalty.
Yes. You suddenly reveal royalty. Yes, you do.
Boom.
That was pretty good. Okay, let me just hide that area. Pay no attention to the room behind the curtain. All right. So this is you. So you can move your tokens if you want over to that one, Amel. So this, as you get to the top, you can see that you were in this relatively small room, which seems to be at the top of these stairs. And there is, as you're kind of looking up, looking from the stairs, there is, first of all, what looks like an open ledge here. Now, you need to go over. There's light streaming through it, so you can see pretty clearly in this room. And you could go over to this ledge if you wanted to see, but it definitely leads to the outside. And as you're looking, you see that indeed that looks out on the area that you were looking from when you were talking to Raynor. So it's basically looking south of the watchtower. And it's pretty, like, the wind sort of whips here, but you notice that the wind is not rushing into... it's not rushing into your face as you face south, which may indicate that it's coming from not the south, presumably. But you actually have such good vision from this, despite the clouds and everything else, that there's little doubt in your mind that you must be in what was referred to as this Raven's Perch. You can see little bits of straw. Any other sort of examples of what might have been in this chamber when ravens were actively used has long since disintegrated and gone away, but there are little bits of things that might indicate at some point they were there. Also, what Stone is standing on top of is a closed trap door.
What? Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh. Closed trap door, you say?
Yes.
Now we've just... So, is there now, I am not particularly architecturally minded, but is this chamber not, like, atop the one that we were just in? Or is it...
It is. Like... It is atop. The mountain itself, or the hill, I don't know, it's really a mountain, leans a little bit to the east. So the dwarves, as they often do, sort of built within the structure of the mountain that they were using. So this seems to be towards the tip of that hill that the watchtower was set in, and is thus somewhat over to the side a little bit. But this still is, so it's not, in other words, it's not a perfectly, do you understand what I mean? It's not a perfectly shaped...
But does this mean that...
Align the spiral staircases and you're good.
Right, so could we think about, like, is is it possible to intuit that this trapdoor is above the chamber of winds?
One would think, and it is, and there is a iron ring in the one side of it that might allow you to pull it up if you wished.
Interesting. Okay, one last question about being up here.
Sure.
When River looks out, can she actually see Raynar?
She does not. Actually, make a perception check for me before I say anything of what she sees. $15, I think.
Yep.
She does not see Raynar, but she does note that it is still, midday, past midday now, probably maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. But as you're looking out upon the land beyond, you notice that the clouds and sort of gray is beginning to lower and darken. And it almost feels as if there is possibly a storm brewing of some kind. It's not directional, it's not like, oh, it's coming from there. But overall, you can almost feel the air pressure, dropping. And you can see the light sort of darkening somewhat. You do not see Raynar, but you do hear the howling of the wind around here. It's also bitterly cold up here. And
front moving in.
If you were to stay, in this weather for, you're fine for now, but but if you were to stay here for, say, 15, 20 minutes, you might actually start damaging yourself because of the cold from up here as the wind cuts in. Now, again, you're not being hit directly in the face by this wind. It's all sort of oblique, it's coming from elsewhere and swirling into the chamber.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
You mentioned getting Tally to do a check.
You beautiful man. Thank you. He has brought to me, oh man, the bread is warm. The plate is warm. It is bread with pate on it.
Warm bread.
I'm excited.
Nice. Yes, you wanted to ask about as soon as she's done asking me the questions about this thing, then I'll address the stonemason question for Inga.
Sorry,
that's okay. Maybe it's a good time to do this. So, the River asked whether or not whether Inga would have any knowledge of stonemason knowledge of why some of the skylights were blocked by rocks, like if that was natural, if that was created, what led these things to fall in.
She wouldn't know that.
So,
she wouldn't necessarily, she wouldn't know what specifically happened here, but she would know the common causes of that.
Right. And so the answer to that is, in maintenance terms, when dwarves are living in a place and maintaining it, you don't have rock slides, okay? That's not how this works. But there have not been dwarves here for a very long time. And so eventually everything will begin to break down. Your guess is that some of the skylights, Inga, were probably just natural kind of falls that, some rocks kind of crumble down, and then you get, like we joked about birds making nests, eventually just sort of the area is blocked. But that might account for 1 or 2 of them. But there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in that room that you're in, and only 2 of them are clear. Of the other 5, it's doubtful that all 5 were like that. Maybe 1 or 2 of them. Your guess is that some of these were deliberately caved in.
Do I see this right? The maps don't align perfectly? Because
right,
the staircase is placed, the skylights should be popping out here, where some of them should be visible from where I'm at.
I don't follow. What do you mean?
One of the skylights should open up here.
Oh, yeah. So, right. It's not, that's correct. It's not perfectly aligned. Let me see. Where is this thing? From this stop, it's right there. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, because I gave you probably the wrong skylight. Wait a second. Let me make sure. I want to make sure that I don't get myself confused with my number. So, with the stairs there. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So, if you look at where this is located, if you were to this, as I just say the word, I'm sure it's helpful. If you look where this is located, if you were to just slide that over, you would see probably Ones down here, like say this one and this one,
Yeah.
these ones are blocked, and it's possible they are blocked by the above area. Like that might be what you're looking at. But at one time, because there's no skylight up here in above her, this is an enclosed chamber. The only way that she has light coming in is coming from this passageway to the south. So it's possible that at one time there were skylights that went all the way up. Or, as you might be thinking now, Inga, these seem like odd things to have in this room anyway. Why wouldn't you put skylights in the top, floor of something? And you wonder if this may have something to do with the operation of the Chamber of Winds. Because you know that dwarves are very capable of putting in not only air holes for, to drill down so that you can get oxygen from above and so forth as you mine, but are also good for being able to structurally and otherwise put in carefully placed drill holes, essentially, to let in light and air as necessary. You've never seen this particular kind of skylight, and so you wonder if this is maybe unique to this particular chamber, maybe.
So, what River's gonna do, the one last thing she's gonna do up here before heading back down to relay all of this, is look to see if there is something in the floor of this room that corresponds to any of the skylights, and to see just if it was caved in, if there's a spot in the floor that looks like it was deliberately filled in or something like that.
Let me have you make an investigation check as you're doing that.
I forget if does stone give her advantage on investigation?
No, because and also because this has nothing to do with smell in this particular case too, or listening. Not that you need it. I mean, listen. Yes, you do find a couple of areas where there seem to be sort of outlines in the floor, where at some point there might have been a area for skylights. And basically, I'm not going to try to draw them in the room because I'm going to confuse myself completely, but they roughly correspond to here on the end here, sort of down below. So I guess, I don't know, that would be like there and maybe there or something, where there might have been outlines in the floor. But as you look above you, you don't see any corresponding skylights in the roof above at all. Like nothing that would lead out of the chamber that you're in up further to the north. Okay. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so River's gonna come back down and say to the others, I think the chamber that's above us is the Raven's Perch from the book, but there's also a trap door that I think will drop us into the Chamber of Winds that's through the stone door to the southwest. So I haven't looked at this door yet. I don't know if it looks like it. I wonder if we should keep it shut until we figure out what we want to do with that room, in which case dropping in from above might be the better thing.
Yeah, also just looking at that big stone door over there, that is going to make some noise when we open it. So.
Well, I think the wind is going to be making the bulk of the noise, but actually one quick question as well, Arv. So my sense is that River is looking at the Chamber of Wind situation like a musician, and kind of like the mountain is like a giant flute, essentially, and that there is air funneling through it. And I'm wondering, I'm just wondering if she can. Actually, I don't know. That's not going to lead to a check or anything right now. I just want to say that's how she's thinking of it, and okay. I'm wondering if figuring out the door aspects and stuff, if they don't do the huge blast, if that's a perspective that she can use to try and, play the Chamber of Winds essentially slightly differently.
Okay. I will take that into account. You'd still need to obviously see a little bit of the arrangement of it, but yeah, exactly. That's reasonable.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, I think we should try and drop in from from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
Alright.
before I left, was there anything else noteworthy about the chamber I had just gotten, that Inga had just gotten in?
Other than just the skylights that are
Wow.
in that room, not really. The skylights just, sort of lead up again into the open air. You can feel, again, the wind very cold in that room, kind of howling down from the top. You also notice in here that it's getting a little darker, for whatever that's worth.
Okay. Yeah, I guess in that case we all go upstairs and open that latch.
Okay, so you want to all head up to the upstairs and then do the trapdoor? All
Yes.
right. I will ask everyone then to move. I will move Rabar for the moment. So go ahead and move up here. Okay, and you see again what I have described as this door, this trapdoor. And there is indeed an iron ring in it, so you can pull it up and out, or I guess I should say up and over. You can see it's hinged on one side, and you can pull it up and over if you wish. You don't know if it's latched from below, of course, but heavy iron ring above this door.
Well, let's try to lift it then.
Okay. I need you to make a strength check for me, please. Athletics will work for this too.
Then I take athletics. Aha!
Okay. So you begin to pull, and you actually are like, and you do a pretty good job of getting it like maybe half of the way open. But you will need help from a companion to get it the rest of the way. This is a pretty heavy door.
Help, please.
You gonna do that, Tani? Okay, so I need you to make a strength check too. This won't be difficult because Inga's already done a lot of it.
19.
Yep.
Yeah,
So you're able to
strong.
move it the rest of the way. Now, as it gets to the top, you realize there is one issue, which is that the thing is going to come down again. So the question is, do you want to try to hold it like gently, like the weight of it as you lower to the ground, or just like let it drop?
No, we do that gently.
Okay, so I'll need both of you to make strength checks on the other side of it as you are like, because it's one of those ones where you're like, good, oh wait, oh god.
River will help too if it's.
There's only room probably for two to be able to fit
Okay.
there. But it looks like that's enough. So you're able to grab on. It is extremely heavy on the other side. And then you lower it to the floor. And you see now that on the other side, the underside of it, is another iron ring, presumably to reverse the process. This is looking down, directly down, upon a rather extraordinary chamber. And I want to... Okay.
How wide is this?
The trapdoor.
Yeah.
About 6 feet, maybe. 6 by 6, something like that. Maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 7 by 7. Okay. And where is that? That's that. To make sure that I'm on the right spot of the map, so I don't reveal things I'm not supposed to. Okay. Already too late. That's okay. Okay. From your vantage point, you see that you are looking down upon, and the thing that I want to note is that you're on one sort of corner of this. So you're actually looking down from just basically looking at this. So you're looking down basically at something like this, let's say. And what you see here are something rather odd. This chamber has these what look like 8 portals that are looking out on the mountains from this vantage point. You don't know what they show, obviously, because you're not here. And some of the ones you can see even from your vantage point have doors in them. There are some small ones, but there are a lot of large ones like this, like the one that you obviously saw at the other chamber that was on the southwestern side. And you can also see that there are a number of these trap doors that are set in the floor. Smaller ones, probably about 4 by 4, something like that. But there are a number of these trap doors. All of them appear to be closed at the moment. So there were skylights in here, and there are trap doors in here. And as you open this, the thing that most grabs you is very windy. So like the wind is, and you feel like this blast of cold sort of strike you in the face. Also, as you look down, you see a couple of things that are particularly striking to you. The first is that there is, in the middle of the room, over close to one of these trapdoors, let me just put this in here. Okay. Show me what I want to know. That's not relevant. Okay, there we go. This is fine. An enormous fire. It's not that big. Okay. There is a blazing bonfire here. And although the wind whips wildly and the flames whip wildly, the thing... Actually, I'll have all of you who are looking through this trapdoor make perception checks for me as you look at this fire. And then I'll describe more of it as we go on.
Yeah, no.
You're like, that's fire. I've seen fire. And
I've seen rain.
River agrees. Definitely fire and rain. No doubt. No doubt about it. We'll see what Tani sees in a minute. And Robar. You're like, yep.
Jesus.
I'll tell you what. Fire is all that's there. So we just need to know what Robar thinks.
Come on, Robar! It's the opposite of water. Surely you should be able to do well with this.
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll trend for him.
While we're figuring this out, I just want to report back and say that my bread was amazing, and I'm extremely happy.
I'm glad to hear that.
Hey!
Okay, there we go.
Here he is, King of the Vale, Rider of Eagles.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What Robar notices is that with wind this fierce, with the fire whipping like this, there should be sparks and ashes and, you know, everything kind of like whipping out everywhere. But instead, the fire, although it whips around, seems to be otherwise self-contained and does not seem to be dropping. So it's not, in other words, it's being affected by the wind, but it's not being blown out by the wind, and there's no ashes or dirt or wood or any pieces coming out from this fire. And perhaps that is because next to the bonfire is a cage. And in the cage is another mummified corpse, like the one that you saw at Twimmerhorn, and like the one that you saw at the crossings of Selduin. He is, however, not alone. Around this thing, this cage, are 5 large orcs, black uruks they look like to you, which, hold on a second whilst I grab what I need.
Part of the reason why Tawny Bear didn't do very well on that thing is he's kind of keeping an ear back toward, he's keeping an eye on the spiral staircase to make sure that nobody's coming up behind them.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, let's go back over there.
How high above that chamber are we?
So you are probably about, that's a good question, I guess.
Like, given that this is all like worked into the stone, it should be like a pretty thick flooring. Otherwise, it would just
Right,
collapse.
exactly. I mean, I would say you're probably a good, because you have the staircase go around, probably 40 feet above it.
Okay, so not likely that we could just jump in through there, right?
Not, I mean, it's not an automatic you die when you hit the ground type of thing, but it definitely looks like it would be quite a fall. Yeah.
You heard it, yeah.
Down here are 5 of these guys, although I really wish I'd stop showing that nameplate.
Well, for what it's worth, I can't see the nameplate. But I'm not looking at the stream. So
Okay, there we go. Oh,
Yeah.
it's because...
Ooh, Ravar, there's stuff things.
Oh no.
You made a kingly perception check, and as a consequence, I can't believe that the rest of us are like, oh yeah, there's a fire, but Ravar is
Of course,
like,
it's more than a fire, you fools.
It's no fire.
We have found We found the Gibbet King.
Oh,
So there are 5
that's not.
of these black uruks, huge orcs, standing near
gosh.
the Gibbet King, and these 2 over here and here, are holding an enormous chain. As you look upon this chain, and it is something similar to what you saw, it is, in fact, you think the same chain as you look down upon it. These creatures that are holding onto this chain look deeply weighed down. Now all of these uruks are like muscular and like really, really strong and tough, it looks like. But these 2 the difference between player and character. No, but yes, as extras there. But they're holding this chain. But the 2 that are holding the chain look very weighed down by it. I mean, they're just sort of, thank you, Dragon, for the resub. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. They are like weighed down almost by the weight of this chain. And even as you look at it and see the chain, the sort of darkness of it, you can almost see the flame, the light of the fire being reflected in the darkness of it. And you hear, coming from the cage, you hear, yes, there, from somewhere they come. You will be found. And you can see that there is an unholy green light in the eyes of the corpse in the cage. I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
No! Oh God!
Anything but that.
Oh. Can we just fight the orcs?
That might be easy.
I'm sure we'll also get to do that. Yeah.
22.
Okay.
Come on, mate.
Gosh, I don't know.
Aha!
No.
Wow.
Nice!
Wow. All right. And
Natural 1.
I was like,
Oh!
okay.
I feel like Tawny took that on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Like
for
got in the way. You're like,
It just
no.
like nudged River out of the way.
I'll take the
It's
shadow
like-
grenade for everyone. Yeah. So you, thanks for that voice. I'll have nightmares now. My pleasure. Okay.
Ah, no, that's even worse.
So, as you, so most of you, as you look down, are reminded about different things. Rabar, you remember something about the burning of the fort around Black Tom, the sort of smell of it, the sulfurous smell. But you also remember the courage of those who fought to save it, the people that you fought alongside, the ones that you tried to protect and that tried to protect you in turn, those that served under you. And you you feel this kind of darkness almost sort of sweeping up, but you manage to shake it off. Inga, you think most about the face of your mother. She lies there on the bed, and you have this sort of imagination of her looking sick and weak. But again, then you remember what your father had told you about, you've got to help her and do what you can, and you also are able to shrug this off. River, the one that you probably remember most strongly here, oddly, is your father in the tower, looking at his expression as he sat there, weighed down, hurt, at the time when you first saw him, possibly dead, and the sort of feelings that you had of despair, but then the feelings of happiness that you had when you were able to restore him, and the determined face of Ash kind of flows through your mind also, and you shake it off. Tawny, you, who have been, of all of the party, doing the best that they can to try to kind of hang in and sort of stay with it, and, it's just a dream and all that stuff. Even this land, you've started to feel it over the last couple days. You may remember that you've started to get more of these shadow points, and it's beginning to weigh on you. And you can almost feel, as you're looking down upon this chain, there's a fascination in the dark shininess of it. You almost feel yourself bending through the trapdoor in a way.
I was gonna say.
Yep.
I was gonna say, you probably start
Yeah, and then he falls all the way. No. And as you're leaning over that way, as you feel yourself, the sort of weight of it, you think you see, but it must obviously be just a trick of the light, but you think you see the face of, in that corpse, the face of those you killed at the Battle of Five Armies, the faces that even to this day mock you with the horror at the end that you brought them, that you were responsible for, that you did to them. And so you gain another shadow point from this as you're staring down at it. Now, it's not clear if this creature is aware of all of you yet, but this is what you're staring down at, this howling wind, the strange fire, and then the king, apparently himself, the Gibbet King, because that does sound like him. And the chain which awaits. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to note, this is very important. This here, this passageway, is open.
Wait, I don't see. Can you do that again?
No, yeah, hold on, I'm just opening it up.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go, right there. So that place right there is open. Now, from your vantage point, you can't see farther than this, but it is extremely cold, and the wind that is whipping is coming from here, which suggests, River, that the wind is coming indeed from the north, and that it's flowing through here. The other thing you notice about this, by the way, this is a sort of wider and wider passageway that you can see, and you're not entirely sure what that's about, but frankly, there is little doubt that some of these chambers might be big enough, some of these passageways, might be big enough to accommodate a dragon. So, I'm going to try to find the right creature token for this while Inga asks me your question.
So, wait, one last thing actually before is can we see from where we are? Can we see if either of these passages are open?
From your vantage point, because this is not a really, really large, hugely large trapdoor that you're looking through. So from your vantage point, you don't really see any more than what I've laid out there. This particular thing happens to be in a spot, as I move over to double check, this trapdoor where it's placed kind of is almost angled so that you can see more on this side, if you follow what I mean, than the other side. And so you're not able to see as much of the others. You do see some, like for example, that door is definitely closed. That door is definitely closed. This door is definitely closed. You think you can just make out just kind of like sight of that, although really I probably shouldn't be showing that because I don't think you could see that completely. But it's more the stuff up here that you can see. And this one right here is the one that's definitely open.
Right.
In fact, I'll put a little mark there just to mention that it's open.
So in that chamber, all we can see is that there's the Gibbet King and those 5 trolls, right?
Correct. 5, Uruks. Yeah, exactly.
Uruks, yeah.
Yeah.
So just to remind us about like the if we wanted to make a big, scary, awful, terrible sound, this door and one of these doors. I'm not sure which one of these is south.
That one that you just clicked on is the direct south.
Direct south. Okay, so we want this one to be open as well as this one.
Wait, let's mark them. Okay, so
You can do that. You folks can go ahead and mark that as you're doing this. This one, the one that has purple, is already open. So, or the one that has the whatever.
Okay, so yeah, keep the
Magenta.
purple there, I guess.
These two?
Yeah, those are the ones that we need to open. And in fact, so the idea that we're going to. Right, so I guess it's a really good thing that we very gently lowered the trap door down so that it didn't make a thud, so that these Uruks are not all looking up at us.
That might be a reasonable assumption.
But, yeah. The question now, I guess, is what are we doing with this information? It's really big. I don't like it.
Never gets old.
It's bad.
Oh god, the skeleton war.
Never gets
So
old.
bad.
Okay.
Rude.
So, one other question. Is this passage... Oops, sorry. Can I undo that? I don't know. I
This
put
one
a
down
dab
here.
of color here. I didn't mean to
That's okay.
put a dab of color in our
can-
thing. This rather. Is this chamber? Is this entrance big enough for a dragon?
I'm sorry. Show it again. Which one?
Where we all are.
In the chamber up top, like the southern facing entrance.
Oh, okay. The one that you're in up top is probably not big enough to I mean, inside it you might be able to accommodate it. Getting into it though, probably not, because this is probably about, I don't know, 15, maybe. It's a little misleading because this is probably closer to 10 feet wide right here.
Right.
And so the chambers down here, the passages down there, the big ones, look to be bigger than that. Like the passages look to be maybe 15, 18 or so feet. A little bit of a squeeze. Inside this chamber, he could probably fit a little bit uncomfortably, and he could definitely fit inside the Chamber of Winds.
Okay.
But I mean, if the northern passage is open, what if we just tell Raynor to blow his ice into there? Would that work?
Part of me is definitely wondering if we can signal to Raynor from the southern passage and say,
Over here.
go over there and just blow your fire through. But, like, what we don't want is for anyone to get near him with the chain, because if so, then, like, everything's over. But...
You get the impression that Raynor is not interested in having any kind of signal coordination.
Right.
Raynor
yeah, I
is
guess
basically
that's-
going to do what he's going to do, apparently. Dragon collaboration is a very difficult business.
And a very unfortunate title to have.
What?
Is there
Dragon?
any
Yes.
sense, from where we are in this chamber, of, actually, let me look at the other ones. I'm just trying to figure, like, is there any way to open, this door, wait, can I? Yeah, this door, from outside, but probably not, because that's probably, like, actually on the outside of the mountain.
Well, it depends. If the door is down here, so like if the door is inside the passageway, it may not be flush with the outside of the mountain. So it might be that if you're thinking of like rappelling down the outside Mission Impossible style and then trying to open it, you probably would be able to get into the passage. Whether or not the door is openable from the outside, though, in other ways, like whether it's able to be opened and closed from the outside is not, you don't know. I mean, whether it could
I
or
would
not.
want to check. I would climb down there. If you want me to find out.
Would you?
Yes.
I mean, let's think about the rest. So let's think about the rest of our plan of attack here, because
Inga has never been caught hanging on a wall before in this campaign, ever.
I'm just thinking,
Okay.
like, so we've got 5 Uruks. There are 5 of us, 4.5 of us. Like the 4 of us in stone. And there is a terrifying, bad, awful thing that we know has the capacity to capital F frighten us. I hate you. I hate you so much. I hate you and this. I hate to see it. The other thing is that we do have the means of examining what a door is like if we go to this one. Just go back down the stairs.
They do seem to be similar construction, yes.
So we could looking at this door probably figure out if it opens in or out without needing to rappel down the side of the mountain. But another thing that we could do is if our ultimate plan is to like storm this chamber, I think that we could do that from 2 sides. I think that if we're able to open up this door, then if 2 people came in that way and another 2 people actually did like come down a rope into the room from the skylight, then we could potentially ambush from both sides, and get fighting until and hopefully be prepared to maybe open the south door and wreak havoc.
Can we take those guys on? I mean, they look pretty strong. Not like normal orcs.
Why would we bother taking them on if we can just
We can
open the
open
gates?
doors.
Yeah,
it's
and
kinda
then
what I'm
the
thinking.
wind would. Yeah.
That's true.
So wait. Why do we need to open the northeastern gate?
The three that have to be open are the north, northeast, and south. In order for the giant, horrible, obliterating sound to happen.
Which could give us an advantage.
Yeah. Also, I want to fix one thing. This one that's over here should be over this way. You can't quite see it, but
I was about to say because that
Yeah.
made no sense to me.
yeah. So that's my fault.
Oh.
Not this one. That is the same construction as the other doors, though. But
Oh, okay.
that one obviously is not it, because all of these doors lead to passageways that are going to the outside of the mountain, like this one is. So this one
Okay.
is obviously not that. However, I do want to emphasize that is the same construction as those other doors.
Okay. So
yeah.
so this is not the northeastern door.
Right.
This is
This
the
one over here would be the
northeastern
northeastern door, right?
Okay. So
Yeah,
we
sorry.
can't actually just like. Okay.
But I
Interesting.
guess Inga would go down and like use her knowledge of stone doors to figure out how to open these.
Okay. Well, all right. There's a few steps between this and that. First,
But
Literally.
one
Yes.
thing I'd like to be clear on before we do. I mean, so have we fought Urukai before? I feel like we have.
Yes.
You have.
Yes, we
Right?
have.
All right. So they are like familiar to us in terms of like their strength. We
yes,
haven't- not
although
seen-
yes, but these two things, both one. Well, I won't classify whether it's good or bad. First of all, two of them are clearly weighed down by this chain. So there's three that are just standing there, just sort of waiting. So maybe that's the semi-good news. It depends on what they do with the chain, maybe. The not-so-good news is that, yes, you fought them before, but black uruks like this these look even stronger than normal. They're almost preternaturally stronger, like the supernaturally stronger, I should say. Like maybe infused with the Gibbet King's own malice, maybe just trained by it, but these things look enormous. Not trolls. I don't want to overstate it, but they do look very strong.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. All right. Well, our next step is going to be for Inga to examine the door, I guess. Should we just leave the trap door open?
Yes,
rather than
because it
risk
would be
making a
way
sound?
too. No, it would be too risky to close it and make a noise like that. Just whisper.
And because the wind is so loud here, I think it was you who asked me, Inga, whether or not you were trying to be careful with your voice because it
Yes.
carries. And you do notice that even the sound of that creature's voice, I mean, it didn't speak that loudly, but it's very clearly echoed, up from that room up here. But it looks as if the wind is mostly being drawn through and up rather than down. So the air is rushing up to you as opposed to the other way around, which may be that your voices then are not carrying as well down below. That's if you had to specify.
Hey, Arf,
Yeah.
you want to know why the Gibbet King is so evil?
Why?
Because he's stuck in an echo chamber.
Well done.
Uh,
Well done.
Ta-ta!
I've got to go.
I see what
Like-
you did.
gotta be
Do
someone.
I get inspiration for that?
Yes,
Solid.
the Giblet King gets inspiration.
The,
Oh,
the
no.
Giblet King. Delicious
The
giblets.
Ribbit King.
The Ribbit King, yes.
Feel the
We get down there and it's
feel
just
the
Pepe's
weather.
face.
Yeah. That's funny. He just walked through the door. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Oh, it's totally different. You look so different from up top, I have to tell you. Okay. There's an original Star Trek episode where a big part of the point of that episode is they see this incredibly intimidating force, and then when they actually go to the ship, it turns out it's a one-man ship run by this alien that looks like a little kid who is very creepy on his
Played by
own.
Clint Howard.
That's right. Very creepy looking regardless. But anyway, and he talks about like that's his alter ego because he knows that no one would take him seriously if he just, so he made this creature that looks like terrifyingly impressive to sort of scare them. Anyway.
And they drink Tranya.
That's right, Tranya, which looks like, as I recall, orange juice of some kind.
It's grapefruit juice.
Oh, it's grapefruit juice. There you go.
Clint Howard hates. And he didn't want to do the scene because he was going to have to drink grapefruit.
I didn't know that, really.
And his father told him, "You get back in there and you drink it." And
That's commitment. When you drink the grapefruit juice that you don't want to drink very much.
That's funny.
I just lowered the volume locally on the wind, and it's unbelievable the difference it makes. Like I was realizing it's so effective. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't think with this wind.
Exactly. Yeah, on purpose for sure. Okay, so and I will, when we actually do whatever happens next, I'll turn it down a bit for our own sanity, but I did want it to present a certain image. Okay, so all right, so Inga, you're going down the stairs to look at the other side of the door in that other chamber, yes, down below?
Over here.
Okay, so go ahead and do that. When you get to that door, I'm going to ask you to make a stealth check for me, please.
boom, just like that. I said
3.
All right.
20.
Very nice. You kind of quietly make your way down and over to the door and take a look at it. So these are indeed large stone doors. And at first, what you look at here is you're looking at something which seems odd in that you don't see any obvious handle. But then you see what looks like some kind of a dwarven rune of some type, which is on the inside of this door. That's clearly marked on the right side as you look at it, of the door.
Well, what does the rune say?
So as you're looking at it, the rune seems to be essentially marked. It seems to be a number of some kind, and the number is marked as 1.
Okay.
Number of the counting shall be 3.
Maybe it's the number. I mean, remember we had to knock on the outside door. Maybe it's a number. Of
Yeah, I'm not
times to
gonna knock on the door here.
Don't knock
Hello?
on the door! No! Don't do it! No!
Oh, Gibbet King, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Interesting. But in this case, the number is on the outside of the door.
I'm
Well,
assuming,
yes.
or even Inge is assuming that my cat is being weird. Sorry. Inge is assuming that there must be like like that's the wrong word for it, but like some kind of control panel thing, or something with like levers
Huh.
with according
Well,
corresponding numbers.
I will say that the rune is glowing slightly, just faintly.
Oh, maybe we need keystones. That could be.
And right now you're just looking at it, right?
Yeah, I'm too genre savvy for this. I'm like, okay, so in Dorlax Tower you had like a bunch of
I was going to say, though, don't be over genre savvy because,
It would be awfully convenient if there was actually a control panel where we could just go, let's open doors 1, 3, and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
it seems unlikely. That wasn't generally how the
Yeah,
dwarves
like Inge
did things.
basically waves the other guys back down again.
Okay, so you go back up and then...
Well,
okay.
yeah, like to the staircase and like.
Okay. So we're okay. So we're looking at this door and it's got a 1 on it.
Yes.
Mhm.
I would suggest we explore further into the tower and see if we can find like somewhere that like some clue as to how to open these. Because I have the feeling we need some kind of key or a password, or there's levers somewhere. I don't know.
One note that I want to make, though, and this is not that you can do whatever you want. I just wanted to make clear that you knew from your own experience as a dwarf and a stonemason, it was very rare for multiple reasons for the dwarves to have levers far distant from the opening mechanisms because of the experience they had of too often being caught out when, for example, goblins would burst out of a passageway and then they're like, crap, close the doors. So your experience is that generally this stuff is not going to be very far away from the actual door in question. Whether it's a runestone or not, you don't know. I mean, you haven't even touched the door yet, but you know that
Yeah,
was
well,
the
I
case.
mean,
Oh,
I'm
and
a
also
bit
where-
scared of like accidentally opening the door.
No, for sure,
like,
yeah, for
"Ta-ta."
sure, exactly. Also, I wanted to mention the other ones. If have you all come down the stairs? You said with Inga.
I mean, so Inga like came up to wave us down.
Right. So I didn't know if you went down with her.
Well,
or
I
not.
mean, like if like
Yeah,
Inga
I
would
guess-
like have an idea about like that the lever or key or whatever should be close by, then she would like first check the nearby walls for anything.
I see. Okay. Okay. Well, you could. That's up to you. Do you want to wave them down and then do that while they're
No,
coming
I
down?
first want to first do that and then.
Okay. All right. So show me where exactly on the map are you looking in this room? Like for.
Well, first
such
like
things?
here over on this wall.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
Yeah, no. Can't
Yeah, you're
find
like-
anything.
Excellent dwarf construction here.
Looks good to me.
Totally
thumbs
like a
up.
wall.
This is a stone wall. Then I want to check the other wall. Over here.
Okay.
Really? Are you sure?
How can you be so sure?
I'm not sure about that.
Aha!
You're like also a wall. No. This looks to be again very similar construction to the rest, but you don't see anything that would seem to indicate a control panel or levers or anything like that.
I mean, if we think of if Inga comes up and like conveys this to everyone, what River will say is, well, we've already come through one strange door, and the way that we did that was to look at it with like in the reflection of an axe and then knock on it. Could the number be the number of times to knock?
I mean, it could be, but I don't want to go and
That's a
find
tap
out.
tap.
Right.
Hmm.
It would definitely be better to know how to open the doors before attempting
Yeah.
any of the doors.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing. And
Why
probably
won't
fatal.
this come open?
Is it a push or a pull? Is it a push or a pull?
Inga, do you still want to, like, if it's possible to rappel down the side, I guess, if we tried to, like, from the outside of the southern door, look at it, and were, you know, if we, hear me out, if we wrapped a rope around you and lowered you down to that door so that you could knock on it, assuming it also has a number that is not one, and you knocked on that door, saw what happened, and then we pulled you up, then that would either do nothing and we would have more information, or if the door opens, we would be yanking you out before anything could happen, at which point we should prepare to attack the people inside, but at least we would know how to open the doors.
Also, I want to make one quick correction. It was not one. I'm sorry, I miscounted. It's two. So I apologize.
Oh,
It's two.
Okay. So I mean,
Twice as difficult.
so we can assume
Yeah.
that it's like 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You also don't know whether all those lead to doors too.
Oh, that's
You're
true.
not sure.
Well, but we do know that there are 8 doors. We know that there are 8 tunnels, right?
That's correct. There are 8 tunnels. Now this doesn't. There may be more doors than tunnels too. So you're not sure about that.
No, that's true. Sorry. Like, what the book information said was that there are 8 tunnels of wind
Correct.
that go in.
That's correct.
So presumably that's north, south, east, west, and then northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, right?
Right.
So if that number is 2, then I think we can assume that this is 1, 3. And then we don't know about this one. But so
Robo's got a really foggy look over his head as we're doing math.
Okay. Yes. So anyway, so Inga, do you want to rappel down the side to look at the number on that door? Because that's actually the one I know the least. We can intuit that this is 3, if this is 2, but I don't know which of these is.
Sure, I mean, it smells too much like orc in here, so I could use some fresh air.
I could go for a rappel down a mountain right about now. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, every action movie involves rappelling outside a building.
Like the thing is, Inge is like used to working on like construction sites and stuff. She has like no problem with climbing all over the place.
Okay.
So this
Die
is.
Hard have? Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Actually,
totally
tied the
did.
fire hose around himself and leaped it. Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing, John? What are you doing? Oh, man.
All right, are we doing this thing?
Yep.
You gonna try it?
I mean,
All right,
is.
so I was going to say,
I'm
so
not.
Inga returns to the top. Now, how are you all setting this up with her? Like, how are you, tying a rope around your waist, hoping for the best? I'm joking. What are you doing?
Well, I
actually?
mean, we would find a place where we can attach the other end of the rope first.
There is not
Could we
such a
just let
place
her free
obvious
climb
here.
it?
I was going to say you could try. Now you could. There is one. Let me rephrase. There is the iron ring in the center of the trap door. That's, remember, there's one on each side of it. So there's
Yeah.
one that's. So you could do that. It seems very unlikely that Inga's weight would pull the door back or anything like that. So you could do that.
No, that doesn't work because of the angle. It would like.
Well,
need
it would
to
be
be pushed
across.
down?
If it's
quite
a long
heavy.
enough rope, it doesn't matter. It would just be
Yeah.
along the floor. But
Yeah.
the other question is, you could also just have some of you holding it. I mean, there are 4 of you, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold it.
And Tawny outweighs Inga by a little bit.
Little bit.
So I think what the plan is to, as securely as possible, tie the rope around Inga's waist, tie the other one around the ring for extra security, just in case
Okay.
our grip slips at all, and then just have all of us feeding the rope,
Okay.
letting rappelling her down.
Did you folks do this for the raid on the tower? Inga, didn't you go up the outside of the tower for this also?
Yes.
So, like, this is this is your own fault as to why you keep ending up being stuck in literal cliffhangers.
It
You
was
just walk
literally
up all
her
the time
idea. It was.
to go
Like
up
I
the whole
said,
thing.
she's like a construction worker, basically. She's climbing around all the
That's
time for her
amazing.
job. So, of course, that's like where her mind goes.
It's just her deal. Okay. So, all right, as you go down the outside of this and sort of a letdown, first of all, just a quick
To let
note,
down.
wind is definitely swirling around you, but fortunately, it does not seem to be blowing right into your back. As I mentioned before, the wind is not coming from this direction, but you can hear it sort of howling around the outside. And there are also several places where smoke kind of trails out of a couple of the seem to be drifting above the mountain, probably coming from, the furnaces down below, you would suspect. I will need you to make an athletics check as you are making your... Actually, wait. Let me think about that. No, I don't need an athletics check. You need to make a dexterity check of some kind. I'll take acrobatics if you have it, if not, just dexterity. Not a save, a check. Fortunately
Oh,
for you.
okay, cool. Ah. Haha!
Ah.
Much better.
Yay!
So you make your way down gradually and find yourself, and you're aiming, I assume, for the one that you think is to the south. So you find
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
pretty much. Let's see if I get this right. I didn't. quite
Also,
get
how steep is this wall anyway? Because it is a mountain, so it should be too steep,
It's
right?
well, it's not sheer. It's not sheer drop, but it's fairly, the problem is not so much the angle as much as it is that there's a lot of it's not particularly stable on the side. Like you can, there's little rocks that kick off as you're trying to, make your way down. And also it is impossible to be stealthy whilst doing this, in your current outfit. So you are making a decent amount of noise, albeit on the outside of the place. As you make your way down. That said, though, you find yourself right about here. I'm going to move you down for just a second. Here, where you could scrabble into it if you wish. This seems to be leading from the outside.
Well, first of all, what do I see?
I will show you. What you see here is...
Is there anybody? Hello?
Okay.
Is there anybody out there?
Smile
Oh
if
look,
you
it's a
can
really
see
big
me.
chamber that a dragon could go through also.
There is indeed a large chamber here that leads into a somewhat narrower chamber, and there's another one of these doors, which you can see here.
So, but there is nobody in here.
There is no one in there, correct?
Yeah, well, then I go in there and explore.
Okay. Now, how long is this rope?
Oh, it probably tied multiple ropes together for this, right?
I'm hoping that it's as long as possible, or just as long.
1,000 feet.
It is, of course, it's as long as possible.
I don't know how long our ropes usually are. Are they
we
usually
we
like?
cut it before we used it.
Spit into nice little
It's too long.
strands. Typically, ropes are 50 or 100-foot lengths. So,
Yeah, I got a 50-foot rope on me.
right, because that's the thing. If you think about having to lower it, I mean, it's about 40 feet plus the, you can basically just get to this ledge if it's only a 50-foot rope, which is why I'm asking.
No, we probably tied like 2 ropes.
tied
together.
up.
Yeah,
couple.
I have one too. So.
Okay, so it'd be about 100 feet. So figure 5, 10. And did you tie it to the ring of the trapdoor? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Or were you holding? Okay. So
We just-
5,
since
10.
Tawny's so
20,
depressed, we just
30.
tied it around his neck.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
65, okay, 70, 75, 80, 85, 95. Okay, I'm going to say that the rope can get you to about here, Inga, right about here, but then you run out of rope. So you're either going to need to untie yourself, or you're going to need to
Oh, that's a
go
good
as that
point.
far.
Mia is gonna untie herself and is gonna like secure the rope to the side here, so that it doesn't like.
Okay, you're probably able to like just sort of do a small like iron spike or something, just maybe into the edge of it. Okay, so you do that. Above, by the way, the rest of you hear a tink, 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 like someone is slightly just quietly hammering something down below you.
Quietly hammering.
Okay, so you do that.
Okay, then I have a look around it.
Looks
Okay.
tense. Getting
She's
sweaty.
untied the rope.
Yeah, she did. She said she untied it.
Okay, so the rest of us are like, "No!"
No, exactly. Yeah, and she sort of like secured it there. Okay, so you go this way. When you first are, say, right about here, Inga, you don't see anything on the outside of the door, but as you get closer, there is another rune which glows as you get closer.
What does the rune say?
The runes. What does the rune say? Okay.
You could just tell me the number because it is Inga's native language. Just
No, I know. So that's why. But the rune says 6.
Ah. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, now we're cooking with petrol. Okay.
So in this
Huh.
case, Inga like inspects everything thoroughly to like see for any levers or blah.
Okay.
Make sure that she tries to look at things in the reflection of her axe. Is the thing that River would have said.
Okay.
First, she's gonna do the sensible thing and look with her eyes and sees what.
Give me
Sensible. This
wow.
is
Yeah, I
your
was gonna say,
dwarven
wow.
construction.
Wow, listen to that.
The most
And-
sensible thing in the world, might I add, for the
Dwarf
construction.
doors are invisible when closed.
What?
Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
Worse
Said
are
dwarf-
invisible when closed.
No, dwarf doors are invisible.
Exactly.
Just casually closing doors.
Wait, what did you want me to say? Investigation check.
Investigation, please. Yes.
Beautiful.
Because you are actively looking for something.
Aha! I see everything.
You do. Yeah, it does not look to you like there is anything obvious here that's on the outside walls here, levers or anything else. Just the rune, which again is in the right side of the door.
Okay, then Inga takes a moment, takes a deep breath, and is then like, she goes nothing and takes out her axe, puts a little kiss on the blade, and then like gently knocks
gonna-
on the door
And heaves ho. and- Damn it.
6 times.
Okay, so
Like,
you.
ting, 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 ting.
Okay.
And then run and cut the rope, just in case.
Well, first she waits for anything to happen, basically.
Okay. So, just to be clear, are you tapping the door? What specifically are you tapping? Just the door? I just want to make sure I know.
That's
like,
the rune on the door.
The rune on the door. Okay.
Yeah.
When your axe touches the rune on the door, you feel a slight thrill, almost like static electricity, kind of flow up the axe into your arm. And the door
Okay, in
opens.
that second, like that very second, she notices something moving. She runs for it.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
I'm going to make here.
Wait,
door.
did it open on the 6th knock, or did it open as soon as she touched
It
the
opened
rune?
as soon as she touched it.
I
Okay,
see.
the numbers are totally immaterial. Good to know. Good to know.
Okay, so the door opens. As it opens, I'm going to need to make a couple of rolls here. Just be right with you in just a moment.
Those of you listening at home, I've got about 10 minutes left in my brain before I completely collapse in on myself.
Don't do that. Don't collapse.
Oh, by the way,
Really?
Arf, before, well, like when she made the, like, let loose the rope, she did make a noose in the rope so that she could stand in it if needed be.
Stand in it? What do you mean?
God, how do I describe that?
Put her foot
Like-
into it like a
Yeah,
stirrup.
put a
Like,
foot in
yeah.
it and hold on to the top of the rope and then,
A
like,
stirrup.
Get yoinked.
yeah.
I am slightly concerned about hearing about this thing after the fact in the circumstances
Well, you
of
see,
it.
a professional mountain construction person climber, such as Inge.
Who made a dexterity save instead of a dex check when first coming down? That expert? I want to make sure I'm clear.
Yes. That was my mistake, not
Savage!
Inge's mistake.
Savage.
I'm just saying.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
I will allow you your little step, but I do want everyone to be careful though about being very specific about what they're planning to do just for this particular part of things because it's going to be important. Anyway, but that's fine. So let's see, Wow. So you as the door sort of slides open, and you're like running back towards the rope, yes? As this
Yes,
is
and
happening?
like
Okay.
basically grabs the rope and like, how do I say it? Like there's a small ledge here, right? Like over here.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so
Small,
she basically
though.
stands on that, like, so if somebody would look into the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
they would not be able to see her. Like holds onto the rope so that she doesn't fall.
Okay. Make a perception check for me, Inga. Coven,
Oh
that's
God!
funny. Okay. So I'm just gonna move you down.
Wait
to
a second, we
here,
are
right?
outdoors. Do I get my bonus from being in the wilderness here?
No. Okay, so you're on the outside there. So okay, you don't hear this, but Tani and Robar and the river and Stone hear the hissing of the creature in the cage that says, "What is this? Go see what has happened." And the creature silently, one of the Uruks, moves this way. Because I'm assuming, although I should have asked first, that one of you is looking down the trapdoor.
Yes. I mean, the ring is where we've tied the rope.
Right,
so
exactly.
I'm
Yeah, no, I don't think
imagining
that's why I'm not making a big
Yeah.
deal of it. That's right. So anyway, so goes down this way and then disappears from sight.
Pull her up, pull her up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah, like
it.
basically as soon,
ahead.
as soon as like Inge is like on the ledge and feels that she like is properly holding onto it, to the rope,
Yep.
and like puts her foot in and then like tucks 3 times at the rope to like indicate that they should pull her.
Okay. As you're pulling her up. Okay. I need. How fast are you trying to do it?
To pull her up
Yes.
as quickly as possible.
Okay, then I need. That's what I figured. So I will need then, please, either strength or athletics checks from anyone who's got hold of the rope except for Inga. Inga, while you're going up, though, I do need a dexterity check on the way up. This one isn't too
So-
difficult because you got the rope, but
Yeah,
I'm
still
throwing
though.
Athletics.
Oh God, I'm terrified. 16.
Oh,
I have good
right.
news and bad news. So
Oh God.
the good news is that Inga's fine, holding onto the rope. The bad news is that this is going a lot slower than you thought.
Oh
Inga.
shit, we all failed!
You're like,
Jesus!
"Er,"
Yeah.
and so you hear now Inga coming like from down below. So if you can imagine, like Inga's slowly going up, and the hole of the thing is below, and then you see as you're going up, the head of this thing emerge. Now I'm going to give the party, the company, one more check on this as this thing comes out to the edge. So go ahead and make your strength checks again. Inga, you don't need to make another dexterity check. You're fine. You got the rope now.
Do either of you want inspiration before I?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes.
Too late.
This might
I
be a
rolled it,
moment.
sorry.
That's
I
okay.
have inspiration that I can give.
If anyone wants to inspire anyone, this might be a decent time for it.
Already rolled it.
I rolled a
You
5,
rolled
sorry. I rolled it too soon. It's too
Oh,
keen.
great. Okay, cool. It's all down to this athletics check.
Oh,
Or the
fuck.
Kerflop's
it
like, I have one. I have an inspiration.
Does anyone want to inspire the river on the last check of the session?
Kerflop looks. Everyone, look. Arinth, Kerflop. It's up to you. There's one of you could do this.
Yep.
One of you must do this. Kerflop is inspired Inga. Thank you, Kerflop.
Oh, but I think,
Although you meant
No,
to
I
say, I think you meant to say the river, right, Kerflop? I mean, I'm sure Inga likes being inspired, but you know.
Oh, absolutely, but like right now. We
Yeah,
need the
okay.
river to
So it's
not
the
fuck
river.
up.
That's fine. Thank you, Kerflop.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
so you've got this. So you can
Here
now
we
make
go.
this strength check or athletics check at advantage, River. And Stone, of course, has got it with his teeth, like.
Oh, that's right. That's true. I didn't
Like
roll
I don't
for him.
suppose I don't have my hands free while I climb.
Here we go.
Do that. Shoot. Oh God!
Wow.
Thanks.
Thank God for the inspiration. So the rest of you, with this tremendous tug.
Race to Ugly.
So with this tremendous tug, now Robar doesn't help very much here in this situation, but fortunately,
Thanks,
Tawny's
Kerflop.
check and
Amazing.
especially River's check, sort of held by this preternatural desperation, maybe just like pulls, and Inga, you actually are like, huh? Like you're sort of yanked upwards suddenly, and you get up to the edge. Now, when you get up to the edge, do you scramble off it? Like, in other words, when you get up here, do you like immediately like go out of sight, like up, up onto the ledge above in
Yeah.
the chamber? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so
Yeah.
when you do that, you're sort of looking down, and you see the creature literally starting to look up as you disappear over the edge, and so there's silence, and you're just kind of. Now, what are you doing as you're just over the edge? You don't hear or see anything because you're not looking right now, so you don't know
Well,
what
we
this thing
wait
is
for a
doing.
moment and see what happens if anything happens.
Okay.
River extremely swiftly and extremely silently squeezes Inga into a huge terrified hug, and it's like,
Aw.
oh my god. Right. She doesn't say oh my god, but yeah. That's a general sense.
And
The good news is I managed to open that door. The bad news is that they now know that something is up.
We only have to open one more.
Well, do we have more rope? Because
we have the rope.
no, I mean more
Oh.
rope, longer rope, because the other door is on the other side of the mountain.
Well, right. Oh, right. How? So, is it? This is where I'm trying to figure out. Is there a way to try and figure out where this door abuts onto and whether we can reach it? Or do we really need to get to this door from the inside of this room?
you could try to guesstimate it, but the chances of Inga, even with her knowledge of, mountain climbing and being a construction worker, etc., even with that, the chances of her being able to clamber all the way over to that side, because it's basically, she has to go not only down, but lateral, right? So she has to
This-
go
right, so
over.
the only exit is from this room.
Right, exactly.
There's no other.
There's no other exits out of here. So, I mean, I guess you could try it, but if you're going to do that, I don't think you have enough rope for her to get all the way over there safely, which means she'd have to do it without rope, which
have an
admittedly
idea.
would be very entertaining as to watch, but
Of course. And the last thing we want to do is to entertain the DM because it usually ends badly for us.
Right.
So instead, Inge proposes a different plan, and that is
full retreat. No, I'm just kidding.
full retreat. Let's just give up. Everything is futile. No, we go back to this room over here, and you guys lift me into.
That was what I was gonna say. Yeah, the
Yes, it's
skylight
one of
option.
those
Like,
skylights.
could we actually push Inga up through the skylight, and if she gets on top of,
Probably
on top
not
of
big
it-
enough. That skylight is only about
Calling
maybe.
me fat?
What? No, I'm calling you armored. You're about probably 3 by 3, and I would like to point out that you made a very big point of telling me how awesome it is, how armored you are. So if you would like to take off your armor, then you might be able to sneak through there. But these are not big skylights.
Okay, all right. I thought they were big skylights. So,
No, sadly not. They're
But
not
I
as
have
big.
to
They're not as
think
big
of
as that.
Community now.
They're not as big as that trapdoor that you were looking down. For example, the trapdoor is bigger than those
okay.
are.
I have to think of Community now. That one episode where where Professor Chang like takes off all of his clothes and then greases himself up to get into the vent.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
It's
Yeah,
so
Dragon-
disgusting.
Yeah, Dragon Spear says not fat, just thick armored. Yeah, I mean that's all. Exactly.
I bet
Maybe ours.
Tawny's got some grease on him. I bet he's got like some bacon he could just rub Inga down
I
with.
bathe regularly.
This is going to be a very different kind of session I had expected, quite frankly. I did not.
I am shocked as well. So I don't know. I know it's 3 o'clock and Tren desperately needs sleep, but okay, we're back up. We know what we need to do, I guess, which is we're gonna have to come in through this door in order to open this door. The only thing that we don't know right now for sure is whether the runes are also on the inside of the doors. That's the frustrating thing.
True.
But we sort of have to trust that they are because there's no other way to do this.
Also, we don't want to be in the chamber when the door opens. Just saying.
Right, or we want to be as prepared as possible, having stuffed our ears with cloth or sachets of herbs or something, anything to like stop.
Have soap.
Soap would actually be great. I think just something that is like, something to plug up ears with.
Stuff the ears with soap. Okay, so as you all are sort of
That's
standing
for when you
at the
heard
top,
dirty words.
as you're all sort of standing at the top, and Tawny's over by the stairs watching, your back and everything. The rest of you, and I would say in particular, because at the moment Inga is just being hugged by the river. So, Robar, you actually hear from coming down in the room a kind of hissing. So you could look over if you wish. It's not like hissing like, I'm looking for you. It's not like that, but it's some kind of hissing sound. And so, I was just letting you know that there is something going on down below. No one else is able to hear this because you're the one who's closest to it.
I mean, Inga is not entirely opposed to the idea of like, even if it means like to take off her armor to like go through one of these skylights. Like if that's really like the only plan we can come up with, then yeah, she can do that.
I mean, we came here prepared to fight. I think
Yeah.
we can fight them. But anything that we can do to stack the odds in our favor, especially given how much sleep Tawny lost over getting information out of that book, I think would be good. Yeah. I mean, essentially all we need to do is get into this room and open this door to have a massive blast of some kind happen. But we don't know what precautions I have to assume that they clearly don't have their ears plugged up with stuff because they're able to hear things happening, I guess. But yeah.
I mean, if you guys can give me any distraction, I would go down there.
We should all go down together, or we should
No,
all
I mean,
attack
like,
at
you
the same
can-
time.
Let me down through the...
Through the trapdoor.
Well, yeah, through the trap door. Or...
I'm picturing
of us
Tom
stays
Cruise
here.
coming down, like with the...
Yeah.
like with the...
No, one of us
What's
stays
the
up here,
Elvish word
while
for
the other...
pinata?
Pinata.
Pignate?
Mhm.
One of us stays up here. The other three go down to the door, open it, and as soon as you open it and get the attention, the other person goes through the trap door and opens the door. Though I don't know how much sense it actually makes, given how like that they're right next to each other, both doors.
I think that we're going to have to fight one way or the other, and I think that we need to be prepared to run as quickly as possible when that door opens. So, whatever, I think the idea of approaching in 2 parties makes sense. If some people, especially because Inga, we don't know whether you being a dwarf is what helped make that rune open, or whether anyone can open them by touching them.
No, I think it's my weapon, and you also have a dwarven weapon now, so it shouldn't be an issue.
That's true. Okay.
And I mean, even then, I have like a bunch of spare axes, so you can just that's my.
Okay.
I don't know if it has to be specifically. Well, you also have an axe, so.
The chain! Oh god, the chain was so big it looked like a horrible worm.
Slithering about.
Did I mention this the sandworm?
God. And then a sarlacc appeared. So the ground's open.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm feeling really terrible for Trent, so I feel like
Okay.
whatever we plan should probably be relegated to next session, even though it means not necessarily ending on a exciting drama.
Well, the point that I was going to make was just that as you were deciding your last sort of plans of how to arrange this, Robar, through the open trapdoor, you hear this hissing sound, and then you hear from down below, "Yes, it is coming. Stand ready. My moment is at hand." And that is where we will bring our session to a close. In pretty much exactly where I was hoping for us to end, just about.
Okay.
Because you have a good setup here, I think. I mean, you haven't totally figured out exactly what you're going to do, but you know where the thing is, you know what's available to you, and you've scouted this out. I did not expect that we were going to see rappelling. That was not on my list of things that I thought were going to happen, but you always want to just roll with the punches, so it was good to actually see some of that occur. I've dropped the wind a little bit so we can all think, and I'm going to, first of all, say good job to everybody and thank you to chat, and I will start with Amal on the bottom. Amal, good stuff today, and yeah, I was amused by River's sort of reaction to what was happening, kind of like, this is a bad idea, it felt very narratively appropriate. So how did you feel about today? Where will the lovely people see you next?
I was so surprised by today. I genuinely thought this was going to be a combat session. I was all geared up for it. I think because the last session, like, I was convinced that the room we were going past with the first set of stairs was where all of the orcs were.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like there was going to have to be a skirmish or some kind before, like, heading further up. But the fact that instead it feels like playing in an old-time, like, puzzle RPG of, like, what doors do we have to open when, in what sequence, and stuff like that, was actually sort of delightful to me. And I mean, I have this horrible feeling that we're totally, and by we I mean me, overthinking everything, and that probably it is just a matter of, like, yeah, whatevs, get into that main room and open those doors or not, just engage it in battle before the dragon turns up. But I think that I really want to see us use the knowledge that that Tawny got at such, exhausting expense. And I
Trent
feel
played
like
that exhaustion very well today.
He did. Some method acting.
Easy. I've been up since 3 a.m. It's easy for me.
Oh my god.
Why? God, why? But anyway, no, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Inga's repelling, and so just, yeah, it was sneaky, intense, and I'm fluttery with the tension of it all. And yeah, I guess we'll save all that combat for next time. Pleased to have not used up any of my inspiration, so that I can use that.
I was going to say, the
session.
night is young. We will see what happens with this next set of things as you face the enemy. Where will the lovely folks see you before next week on here? But where else will they see you?
What a good question. I'm obviously not going anywhere. But there's going to be an online ceremony for the British Science Fiction Awards, which I mentioned at the beginning. And I am perennially on Twitter and Substack. So Substack is amal.substack.com. I've been doing a weekly Friday open thread there, just like asking a question of subscribers and having some companionable discussion in comments and stuff, and it's been really nice. Like last week was particularly nice in that I was asking what was the most beautiful drink you've ever had that you can never have again, basically, like a thing that you remember that will not come to you. And people's replies have been so gorgeous and moving and stuff. So yeah, anyway, it's lovely, and if you want to join there, you can just subscribe. This is the open part, not a to pay part. And I have a website, amanimotsoft.com. Find me there. And that's probably it. I think I'll put those links in the chat. And the biggest thing that I'm always trying to tell people about, of course, is that my book is in paperback. Look at this sexy step back cover that has praise from people on it, and this nice little red strip and everything, and it's very pleasing to hold. And you can get it from your local independents, who I hope are doing curbside pickup and the like. Okay, that's me. Thanks.
Awesome. Good stuff today, Mel, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things pan out with that. Good luck on BFSA stuff and so forth, but we will see you a week from Saturday.
There is an audio version, I'll say, to Coven Guy. There is an audio book of Time War that exists, and it is stunningly beautiful. It's narrated by Emily Wu Zeller and Cynthia Farrell, so each of the characters, so red and blue, are each voice.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
It's a gorgeous audiobook. I super love it.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's cool. Good stuff. Thank you, Mel. I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out. Terry, you had an eventful session, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Definitely there's been quite a bit for a dwarf investigating a dwarven watchtower, especially one with a stonemason and construction background.
Yeah.
And I was actually not sure when everyone failed their strength checks. I'm like, so that was interesting. We were like, guys, hello? But, apparently you might have avoided detection for the moment. How'd you feel about today? Where will the lovely folks see you next?
So this was a lot of fun. And, oh, God. Like, tension. The finale is going to be during ARFCon, or do we have a session next?
Finale is during ARFCon of Wilderland Adventures if all goes well.
No, I mean, like I said, like another session in between.
No,
okay.
the second session for this month is that one.
Next week is the thing with the cars that I keep forgetting.
Correct, that's right.
What's it called? The game book we are gonna do?
Car Wars Fury Road. No, not Fury Road. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, it's Car Wars, but I think it is something like. Oh God. Keep talking. I'll find the book. Car Wars something.
Well, I don't know how to draw cars, so that is gonna be a new thing because I usually don't only draw organic things.
I got it. Battle Road. Sorry. It's like so 80s. I can't stand it. Like just. Car Wars, Battle Road. Welcome to the world of 2036, where adventure is everywhere, and the right-of-way belongs to the driver with the biggest guns. This is the fast-paced world of arena combat, highway battles, cycle gangs, and unstoppable 18-wheelers. The world of Car Wars.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's gonna be a treat, I hope, because it's gonna be very, very, very different from what we usually do. Yeah, sad to see Tolkien Tuesdays go, because that was so nice.
It was. There'll definitely be more Tolkien books in the future, but we did do 2 of them, in fairness. So,
yes.
Otherwise, where can they find you online, etc.?
Twitter, Instagram, that kind of stuff, and TariTunes. Otherwise, no conventions happening this summer, because, it's the end of the world as we know it.
Yep.
Hope we all feel fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, hope we all feel fine.
So yeah, that.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Terry. Yes, you'll see her back here on Tuesday. Yeah, I haven't actually. I want to be not too loud. We found out yesterday that Little Larv's camp has been canceled for the summer, which was this really awesome camp that she loves and that she went for the first time last year. It's a very special kind of. A very warm place, which was not always my camp experience, but and they were just devastated, but they were like, it's not responsible to do this, so we're gonna have to break that to her gently, because that was one thing she was hoping would still be there, and a reminder, that obviously other people are suffering much worse, but everyone is dealing with something, so I felt bad that was the case. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm unsocial shut-in, and even I'm going crazy by now, so oof.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just Jared Tolkien passed away many years ago. Really, Dragon? Really? You had to give me that spoiler? I needed to know. That's a nice idea, gamer. We bring the camp to her. Well, I'm going to do the best we can. But anyway, I was just highlighting what you were saying, Terry. But it was always a pleasure to have Terry with us. You'll see her next Tuesday here, doing a lot of mohawks and spiky shoulder pads, I'm guessing. But it's going to be good times. Thank you so much, Terry. Also, thanks to Will. Will, was great to have you back in the saddle for this, back playing Robar. And I am very much looking forward to seeing how Robar handles things with this sort of crew, since he's found the focus of darkness, so to speak, in this place. So how'd you feel about today? Where would the lovely folks see you next?
I feel like I'm about to make some terrible combat rolls is how I feel, actually.
We have time to reset the dice.
Exactly. My name is Anduin.
Oh, no! This is secret powers, summon river, yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of good build-up episodes to all of the big fights, and then often Robar will roll terribly in the actual combats. But I'm hoping that we can, bring the wrath of the gods to this dude, because just because of the voice alone, anyone who has that voice needs to be gone.
Needs to go.
As far as Robar is concerned, so get him out of here. But yeah, that was a whole lot of fun as always. I'm looking forward to the next session. I thought I was going to have to leave early because I thought it was next Tuesday, but it's not. It's on the Saturday, so perfect. I can play as long as you want to, thanks to weekends and nothing else happening. But yeah, we're still doing stuff over on Encounter Roleplay on Cobalt Press, as many broadcasts as ever. Luckily, the one thing you can keep doing in a pandemic is play games online. So that's
true.
What we're doing here. So we're doing twitch.tv/Encounter Roleplay and twitch.tv/Cobalt Press for other D&D stuff. But yeah, thanks to the game. Looking forward to this finale. Oh my god. Now I'm stressed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I had just a realization why Robar hates rivers so much. It is because he's a human king. And remember that scene where Arwen/Glorfindel carries Frodo over the river and then calls forth the river. Yeah. It's in your blood, my dude.
Exactly. Yep. The hatred flows in my veins. Anyway, it was a pleasure to have Will with us as always, and also a pleasure to have Sleepy Tren with us. And it's time for Tren to go to bed right now and go get some sleep. Tren, I know you were tired, and I appreciate you soldiering on as best you could. How'd you feel about today? Where will the lovely folks see you next? Pretty much.
Yeah, I think I remember most of today. It seemed to go pretty well. I was dreading the idea that we were all going to try to enter through the
Through the side door.
The
Latch.
Trapdoor?
Trapdoor is the word I was looking for. Thank you. And Kerflop, I could sing you a song, but you would die.
It's actually an uncanny power.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you a banshee?
Whatever the male version of a banshee is, sure.
Banshol.
Reef.
Bench him.
It's a broshi, actually.
No. It's a bench him.
Oh, bench.
It's a
Bench
ban
Okay.
he instead of a bench.
Ben he. Very cute. Yes, I see.
So, yeah, I was terrified that we're all going to, because it's like the main door down below, we can all go through at one time. Pinata pathway is just each of us has to go through the one at a time. And they're just going to be waiting for us down there. And the Giblet King is going to be just kind of open the top of his cage, and since he's mostly just this baggy little skeleton with his skin all, so he's just going to lean back and just open his mouth, and he's going to swallow each of us in turn and get bigger and
just
bigger
eat
and
him on the
bigger.
way down. Well, I actually had this image of you holding everyone as they all went down, like holding the rope, and then the last one's left is like Stone is desperately trying to hold on to you as you sink to the bottom. Just be like,
He's got all 4 feet around the
yeah, exactly.
thing.
Yeah. Oh man.
Great. Now I'm just like imagining this fight going like the one fight you have in Zelda Breath of the Wild from the DLC, which I'm not gonna go into.
Oh,
like,
I was gonna say, I
trying not
haven't
to
seen.
spoil
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, but like there's a fight in the DLC where you fight a thing that is very similar to what we are going to be encountering. So, and it was absolutely terrifying.
So as for where people will see me next, here
Yes,
for ArvCon, and then right after that, here for ArvCon,
it's
and then
true.
right after that, not here because
No.
I told Johnny no
Yeah.
for Monday because I'm going to be just wrecked after doing AME and
Oh, Johnny tried to get you in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's probably yeah.
which if I either weren't doing Adventures in Middle Earth or Curse
Yeah.
of Strahd, if I were only doing one of those two, then I
Right.
would have been
No, I
fine.
hear you. That'd be kind of insane. We can get some other people for that. But it will be great, and you should be checking out Trent's exceptionally popular, seriously, latest Shadowrun narrated book that he did, which is for dragons. What is it for dragons?
Not the latest one I did. The latest one I did hasn't been published yet.
Well, the one that's out though that
The
people
one
know
that's
about.
out right now is book one of the Secrets of Power trilogy. It is entitled "Never Deal with a Dragon."
Yeah, Never Deal with the Dragon. That's doing exceptionally well, like selling really, really well. So congratulations on the audio versions of that. I'm sure that is only the beginning of many things to come. But I'm going to go let you get some sleep. I really enjoyed this group. I'm looking forward to seeing how the finale of Wilderland Adventures comes into play. It could not be better set up for ArvCon, so that'll be great. So thank you, as always. Chat, can we get some love, as Echo is showing us how to do, for Tren, for Will, for Terry, and for Amal. Thank you all so much. Good work, everybody. Good job, company. And I will see you folks a week from Saturday for this.
Easy.
Bye for
Guys.
now.
Take care.
Okay. Sure, I'll update that. Thank you for letting me know about this. Okay. Anyway, you can never stop the excessive echo. Yes, indeed, that is true. So I want to thank everyone for having made this an awesome stream today. And I believe, although I need to double check to make sure, I believe that we also have vote for Patreon Field Chat Chosen Game of the Month today. So let me just quickly go over and double check. And then I need to go prep for D&D with GOG, which is going to be coming up, which is also going to be a good time. Let me transition over to that. Okay, let me get out of here. This is going to be a fun time, I'll tell you. This finale is going to be pretty sweet, given all the stuff that's sort of here and that's at the root of this. So. Yeah, we do have nominations. Okay, I thought so. Why are you showing me this Zoom? Okay, so let me... Okay, let's do that. Let me pull this up so we can do our nominations. So this is going to be for 2 weeks from today. So next Tuesday... actually, two things going on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we are going to have the premiere of Star Wars Scum and Villainy. That is a joint thing of my channel and Speculate, the podcast that I co-host with Mike Underwood. Mike is GMing. I'm going to be playing in that. And that is going to be happening next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then Terry and I are going to be on after that. And I believe the plan is for us to be going from 1 to 3:30. So we'll be on, so Terry will be doing the game book illustration thing, but it'll be a little later than normal, 1 to 3:30. And then, let me get rid of that. And then, starting at 4 p.m., then we'll have Pen and Pixels and all that kind of good stuff. But that is happening next weekend, next week Tuesday at the same time. Today we've got this to do, and then after that we've got at 4 p.m. D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. But I do want to remind everybody that tonight we do have the return of the Orvocalist coming back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern as we continue on with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you should all stop back for that. And then tomorrow night, we have, of course, Community D&D. The Shadow Crew will be playing tomorrow at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern with Shadowed Mage and Hoodie, Rock God, and Echo Alpha X5 as your players. That'll be tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then again, Friday, this coming Friday, we have Esper Genesis, which was rescheduled from last Friday when we couldn't do it. We've got Esper Genesis on Friday. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have got... on that Saturday, I have to double check. I don't remember if it's Kingdoms of Amalur or whether it's the mini marathon session of Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. It's one of those two. I don't remember. But that is going to be happening. So, and again, this is all setting us up for ArvCon. Okay. Game stuff. D&D with viewers. No, we had D&D with viewers last time. We will have that again next month, but no, not today. Or not this month, I mean. We had a good one, actually. I mean, they're always good, but we had a really enjoyable one last time with a person who subbed that same time doing, they were doing Lost Mine of Fandelver, actually. So that was good times. All right. Let's see. All right. There's our bot. Yeah. These are always fun, Kerflop. Definitely. It's well worth doing if you can do it. I'd love to have you in there one way or the other. Okay. So the question is, what game should Arv try this month? Question mark. All right. I will take nominations. As always, I will veto any ones that I don't want to play or already have played or ones that are, just not appropriate, I think. So we got a lot of them today. Kingdom Come. Deliverance. Go to bed, Tren. No, I got your thing down. Okay, Growl Lancer 2. Growl Lancer 2. Tron 2.0, World of Goo, Lord of the Rings Online, which I have, and not Sorcery 3, Marinda, because I've got that on my list. I will be playing that regardless, so you don't need to add that. I'm going to have that on my list. I will be playing it. Oh, I got you. Okay, Tren. Nah, I don't want to install. I don't really want to do the MMO stuff, Gamer, with the exception of Lord of the Rings Online, because I already have an account in that, which I once in a while play in, but I kind of don't want to do that. I will say this, though. I'm just going to throw this out there. Technically, I don't usually nominate my own games, but it is quite possible that I might have gotten and played a little bit of SnowRunner. Just letting you know. I might have gotten and played the game where you drive big trucks around a muddy, snowy map. You've never heard of it? It's basically like off-road trucking, the RPG. Like, you level up your guy and you level up your vehicles, and like you do different tasks, and you can like customize your vehicles, but also your driver becomes more capable of driving, and so you go to different environments. And it's Michigan, by the way, is one of the big places you start. So let me tell you, Dragon, I have a very interesting view of Michigan, having driven around some of its muddiest places. So the Icarus game, first we got to get the Icarus graphic novel out, Gamer Main, the second edition of that, which is going to be coming in early June, late May, early June. Colors of that are coming in at a fast and furious pace. The Jelinek is already finished. The second book is already completed. Lettering and layout and all ink stuff is already done, and pencils and inks and all of that is done for Icarus, and now we're just doing the colors, and that's all been delayed, of course, because of the situation with the coronavirus, but now Achala the artist is moving ahead on that again, so that's going to be coming out. Once that's out, the game is something we can then come back to. We have not forgotten about it, but we needed to get the graphic novel sort of back in focus first before the rest of this stuff happened. That's SnowRunner. So if you're, I'm sort of joking because, I have it anyway, but it was kind of fun. I might play a little bit of this with Rob too at some point. All right. This looks like a good set. Underworld. I love the Ultima game. I love Ultima Underworld 1 and 2. Ultima Underworld is one of my top 3 games ever, Marinda, but, and I liked Ultima 7 Blackgate, although I don't think those games have aged well. Underworld has. Underworld 1 and 2 still holds up. I don't think the Ultima games, the 7s and all that, I don't think they've aged particularly well, in my view. The classic D&D RPGs, you're talking like, hey, what's up, J-Rab? Are you talking about like Gold Box type of thing? Oh, he's saying that, Gamer, because you're only able to do 1 nomination per, that's why. So you'd have to decide between those 2 things. Lord of the Rings Online, though, I'm going to take on board because I do have an account in that. So, yeah. Yeah, per game. Pools, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. Yeah, all of those are possibilities. I guess I should probably remove SnowRunner, regretfully. Let me pick one that I haven't put there because I played Pool of Radiance on channel and I won it. I have played, obviously, Icewind Dale 1 on channel. I've won it. Or got to the final boss anyway. I've played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, both of those with the Infinity Beyond crew. Won both of those, and the expansions. I've played Neverwinter. I mean, I have a Neverwinter Nights 2 Mask of the Betrayer that I'm going to be doing down the line. I guess I could try Icewind Dale 2. Or I could try, your choice, Kerflop. I could either do Icewind Dale 2, or I could do Curse of the Azure Bonds. Which one? Because Curse of the Azure Bonds is technically the sequel to the one I played. Icewind Dale 2? Okay. All right. So here you go. 6 good ones. These are all good choices. All right. I'm going to open that poll. Top 3 vote getters will be entered into the straw poll, which will be voted upon over this week, and it will close next Tuesday, and then I will actually play it 2 weeks from today. So we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance, Growlancer, Tron 2.0, World of Goo, Lord of the Rings Online, Icewind Dale 2. Okay, so we've got some votes coming in here. Right now it looks like Growlancer 2 and World of Goo are the top vote getters, nomination getters so far. If we get one more vote for one of those other ones, not Tron, he said, looking at Dragon suspiciously, because then it would just be one with a bunch of them. But if we get 2 votes for one of the others, then it'll be nice and easy. Yeah, Latro is number 5. I'm not rigging it. Why don't you can just do your vote. Why haven't you voted yet? Because Dragon likes to wait, see, and then get, you know. All right, we've got Growlancer 2, World of Goo, and Lord of the Rings Online. All have 2 votes. Well, no, I mean, remember, last month, the game of the month was Planescape Torment. So D&D has gotten love on this channel in the video game format. So, not to mention the fact that Saad is playing the Gromnir Grumblehammer sessions of Sword Coast Legends. So, there's definitely D&D video stuff that's happening. Exactly, Classic Edition Planescape Torment, exactly. Okay. So, going once. Yeah, that's right. I've actually never played that. I don't know what that mod would be like, gamer, but I mean, I played a lot of Neverwinter Nights, but I never played that mod. I think there's a full conversion of Baldur's Gate in Neverwinter Nights also, I think. No, this is just voting. This is just voting for the game of the month. So we've got the last 3 vote getters. So voting on game of the month. That's right. So we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance with 1 vote, Growlancer 2 with 2 votes, Tron has no votes, World of Goo has 2 votes, Lord of the Rings Online has 2 votes, Icewind Dale 2 has 1 vote. So here we go. Going once. Very cute, Jay. That's funny. Going once. Going twice. And that's Icewind Dale 2. You know Icewind Dale? Okay. Vote closed. All right. So here we go. Those are your 3 choices. 3 very good choices. Growlancer 2, World of Goo, and Lord of the Rings Online are the 3 choices for the Patreon-fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month. So we're going to put together a next game. We're going to put together a straw poll, and then we're going to add that to next game. Thank you for doing that, Echo. Sorry, Kevin. What was your vote going to be? Which one were you going to vote for? Just so I know. It's because I do have to get going to get prepping for D&D with Juji. You're going to vote for Icewind Dale? Oh. Well, if you were going to vote for that, then that was going to create a 4-way tie, so that would have been kind of a problem. Yours got through, Elias. You got your vote through. Sorry, Coven. But fear not, though, because these games will come through. Neverwinter Nights has the ice mod as well. Yes, indeed. Yeah, they did. Man, that game had so much stuff. Amazing. So, Growlancer 2, World of Goo, Lord of the Rings Online. You can see that straw poll up there. So we just need to have maybe Jay or Dragon, if you would not mind. I demand a recount. There was a hanging Chad. Oh my God. But if one of you would not mind just attaching that straw poll, which Echo made, and just attaching that to the next game command, that would be lovely. Yeah. Well, listen, you got it into the mix though, gamer. Exactly. You got it into the mix. It's in that vote one of these days, you know. The mail was late because of post office cuts. No, I know, Coven. Yeah, no, I know. Sorry, man. Okay. So, that looks good. I think we have this set to go. We're going to close this poll. We're going to get rid of that. Stop that. Good. All right, that is going to do it for me for today, at least on this channel. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's going to do it for me for right now. I shouldn't actually say that because I am going to be back here. Now I'm going to head over to GOG for some D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. So the D&D madness does not stop. We've got more going on today. So definitely stop by to check that out. And again, you can find that over on that channel in about 25 minutes, 4 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, you will find me back here at 9 p.m. Eastern for some more Our Vocalists work, the amazing voice acting team of Russ Grubman, GC Darkside Rob, Little Red Dot, and Zach Clay. And they will be back regaling you with their awesomeness tonight as we continue with the Our Vocalist sessions tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. But that's going to... Exactly. It sells itself. Exactly right. But that's going to do it for me. If you like what you saw, please follow the channel. Check out the YouTube with !ArvTube, Discord with !ArvCord, Twitter with !ArvTweets. Don't forget about the website, arvanellarun.com. You can find my Patreon is right there, !ArvTreon. Yeah, and it is really good. Well done. I agree. I like Lord of the Rings Online. I wish it wasn't quite as grindy pants as a lot of the other MMOs are, but still, it is fun to be playing in Lord of the Rings for sure. And then we have got some cool stuff for you and the channel if you support the Patreon. And then we've got the shop, !Arv Shop. And last but certainly not, where you can get merchandise from Adventure Middle-earth, from Infinity and Beyond, and soon from Esper Genesis. And last but certainly not least, that sub button right above the video window, where we are currently sitting at about 62 or 63 subs, I believe, as of last count. So any support there to get those custom sub badges and emotes would be appreciated as well. And on the publishing side, !Icarus, library, and !Gray Shade Chaos for details about various publishing projects. I do want to remind everybody, !ArvCon, a week from this coming Friday is the beginning of ArvCon 2020, our 5th annual charity convention this year to benefit the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation in honor of Kilobyte. We have a concert, we have multiple tabletop games, and it's going to be a 3-day plus affair. Day 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then on Monday we will have overtime, basically day 4 of ArvCon. So that will be really great. And I am super excited for that and excited for what we can do together as a community. But now I'm excited to get going because I need to get ready for D&D with GOG. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Dragonspear, JRab, Coven Guy. Thank you so much to my wonderful subscribers, Dragonspear, JRab, Echo Alpha X5, Kerflop, Nonstop, Arenth, Trendane, Uncle Elias. Thank you to my wonderful viewers, A Long Vehicle, another TT viewer, Arudno, who for some reason is not showing up as a mod. I don't know why. Commander Root, Dinu, Ganja, Gorgar, Jagtris, Kurju, Lotwook, Marinda, Mrs. Dunsel, Okaran, Rhiannon, Rimistino, Santi, The Gamer Main, U Christensen, Universe, VNK, and Virgo Praz. That is going to do it for me. Much love all, and I will see all of you lovely people over on GOG in just about a little over 20 minutes. Until then, everyone be good to each other. Bye for now.